one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to 3Y TV. And tonight, the OSCA Weekend Woodsman Series heads to California for the what? What is that? I can't read that. There it goes. Knuckle to Knuckle 200. It was blurry there for me for a second, but anyway,
I put it on the
Mike
broadcast
Goodman, along
chat.
with me. I know it was in there, and I was gonna read it, and I read it too late because I couldn't remember it. I'm old. I don't remember things.
How about you read it now?
Oh, do I have to read? Oh, I do have to read it? I should read it. Hold on. In memory. Oh, Ken Squire. That's right. Knuckle to knuckle race. Yeah. Do you have any Ken Squire, like, sounds? Of course, the great Ken Squire passing away, but he doesn't hold a candlestick to my awesome intros here. I'm Mike Goodman along with me. Matt Bayou. Peeler's going to be on the racetrack. We'll bring him up once in a while. We'll get a hold of him. And, of course, Carlos Acosta behind the scenes. And tonight, 50 laps, 2 halves. Top 13 cars will invert. But tonight, Matthew, we had a wild weekend, or wild race last week at Phoenix. What do you think is going to be in store here at California? A little bit more wide open plains here, but could there be some more electricity here tonight?
I am expecting. I mean, the higher speeds are awesome. We're back up above 200 miles per hour all night long. I'm looking forward to it, absolutely. The race car is a little bit more stable. Talks to a lot of teams already, and they say it's a little tight in the middle, a little loose off. You can definitely drive it in too hard, and you can definitely push too hard off, but that line is a lot easier to straddle, the one between control and loss of control, and the tire fall off isn't even all that bad. Like, most of these guys have done 20 to 25 lap runs, and after 20 laps, they're seeing about a second of tire fall off, which is, of course, something to consider, but overall, the race car, this is probably one of the nicest cars they've driven all year, and that combined with the wide open track means when these guys get a lot of control over their race car, they start racing each other a lot closer.
So it should be a wild one here tonight, as we have group qualifying, 10 minutes of action and qualifying action. And how dependent, Matthew, do you know, is the draft going to be for qualifying here tonight?
You know, I didn't even consider that yet. The draft, since it is an open session, a huge deal, I think. It's definitely one of those things where it's going to help to have teammates. If you want to use those, you can get it on track. I already see David Westergreen and Adam Tepe out on track together. Saw a couple of the shift guys out there together. See Jake Scarborough, Dallas Myhan. Yeah, it will definitely play a factor. It's not just the one lap qualifying, which means you get 15 minutes, or we get a solid 10 minutes here to go out and set a good lap and get that draft and put a couple good corners together. But sometimes it doesn't always happen, and you might see some guys who run really well in that long run start like 20th.
Yeah, it should be as typical as it goes for us here in OSCA, the comers and goers in the field here tonight. But I was just thinking here, you know, since we have the knuckle to knuckle 200 here, were you guys alive when Ken Squire was still announcing on TBS?
When did he retire? Or I guess from TBS?
Well, if TBS, CBS, when they lost the broadcast rights in 2000 was last year, but I think he still did some. I guess he did some Daytona 500s for Fox. I know he did that, and of course he came back a few times on NBC in the throwback Darlington race, which was always kind of cool when he did that. You guys probably were just barely kicking at that point, huh?
I was born in 94, and I didn't...
Ooh.
I came to America in 2000, 2001, I don't remember exactly. I think it was 2000. Didn't start watching NASCAR full-time until 2007, but I saw a couple races before. Like, my first ever memory is of NASCAR is that Talladega race, the Busch Talladega race, where everybody wrecked in the backstretch except for Jeff Green wrecked in the backstretch in the Nesquik machine.
Oh, yep.
And like only 2 cars survived.
That was very fitting. You have Jeff Green on screen there too. But yeah, that was I can't remember who won that race. But yeah, there was only a couple cars that made it cleanly out of that. That was in, I think 2001, 2002.
I think that was 2000.
Either way, I was either an infant or still growing.
Yeah. I remember a couple of cool races with Ken Squire. He made some of the most mundane races sound just on the edge of your seat awesome. He was definitely one that put NASCAR on the map to what it is even today. Maybe not as good as it was maybe 20 years ago, but yeah, definitely put it on the map with the 1979 Daytona 500, calling that race and kind of watching stuff about Ken Squire was always kind of interesting, just kind of winging it and learning it on the fly and becoming one of the greatest of all time. So rest in peace, Ken. Tonight we honor you. But with that, I think, is it time for picks? Are we doing this?
I think we could make some picks.
Let's
do this. Let's do this. So my pick is going to be Alex Kent. I'm not going to tell you why, but it's going to be Alex Kent. Go to who's your pick?
Okay. Man, oh man. I don't know why. It doesn't pay for me to do research on these picks anymore. I'm trying to do a Carlos stall. Who am I going to jinx tonight? Right now.
I have a stat for you.
Can you give me the stat so I can stall a little bit?
David Westergren has the most top 10s in OSCA history at Auto Club. All right, well, you don't get the stat then. Sorry.
Well, it's good for us.
You got most of it.
Everybody gets one.
If I were you, Goody, but I'm not going to tell you who it is.
You know what? I'm going to go with my boy. He's rocking the fabulous Hudson Hornet. I'm going to go with Neil Rutt III. I'm going to jinx him. He hasn't got my wrath since Atlanta, I guess.
All right, we will pull Keeler up. That's fine. There we go. Hopefully he's not saying anything too inappropriate.
Well, that's why the ready for an interview is a thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Adam, who you got in half one, bud?
Did anybody pick Richard Garcia?
No.
No.
All right, give me Richard Garcia.
Damn it! Ah!
I didn't want to
That's
jinx
what I'm
it.
here for. Come in and ruin people's stuff.
I don't want to jinx it.
Moving you back down. All right. Next up, it's Matt.
Cooper Johnson.
Boom.
Solid.
Carlos.
Who's licking my playbook?
That's a make it audible.
Ah, man! It's my top two picks! Oh, now I'm going to have to go with the guy's going to finish third tonight, the number one of Austin Beers.
Oh, you poor soul. You have to pick Austin Beers.
All right, please go for him.
Oh, boy.
Austin Beers, that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, he's been jinxed, so pretty much
he's
game over.
driving for a tip.
Apparently everybody this season.
All right, let's talk about driver points.
Yeah, let's talk about the driver standings. Braxton Deweese taking the lead. I see Cameron Rich, who's currently second on the leaderboard, changing things up a little bit with the paint scheme. I think it's the first time this season we've seen him in a different paint scheme. So trying to go.
We had the throwback race.
There is a reason behind that.
Yeah. Do you care to share? I've read the tweet.
If you've looked at the paint scheme, it is modeled after one of those like safety vests, so people can see you. So so I think there was somebody, maybe a couple guys. I'm not going to single anybody out, but I think there might have been one guy in particular. Cameron feels maybe they had a hard time seeing him with all the contact they made last week. So I think this is making a point, but it's also, I think it's a really nice looking car.
It actually does look really cool. Yeah. I like it. But so kind of a battle right now between Cam and Rich. Braxton Deweese as it's been all season long, but not too far behind Damian Leininger, who is fastest, I believe, in practice, or one of the fastest guys in practice, looking to be strong tonight. Joe Francis, always kind of there lurking just a little bit. Cooper Johnson as well. So, you know, with a good night for some of these guys about mid-pack, they could put themselves potentially into a championship fight here. But do you think we'll see any weakness? Hey, Joe Francis on pole right now. Will we see any weakness from Braxton DeWeese and Cameron Rich? Because it's been few and far between.
As far excuse me, for weaknesses, this is certainly the furthest from the top of the board we've seen Braxton in a while. I mean, by no means is he slow, but he finished 9th in practice and he is currently starting 5th. So I mean, that is by no means slow, but you know, we've gotten used to seeing out of Braxton DeWeese since he showed up last year was, you know, usually around that top 3 or 4 regardless. Really the top 3, a threat to win the pole running up front at practice. So maybe at the start of this thing a little bit off what we're used to him though, but those are just qualifying and practice. I wouldn't know if it's more weaknesses or maybe just this is a track that bodes well for guys like Joe Francis. And there's Richard Garcia, by the way, 2nd in qualifying. That's a talk about throwing a wrench in things. He shows up. He's going to start up front here in this top 5. He's going to be fast. Cooper Johnson looks good. I mean, it's usually a lot easier to see just Cameron and Braxton up at the front. But there are definitely a couple more things this week working against them.
Yeah, it's kind of throwing a monkey wrench. Some guys looking to play spoiler tonight. We'll see if it gets done as we're about 30 seconds away from qualifying ending. See if anyone can touch Joe Francis fast time or Richard Garcia up on the front row. Ooh, contact there.
Damien's working on that. Damien Leininger currently only 15th on the boards. He ran a little bit quicker. He will move up to 9th. I think he's going to take one more crack at it. That's what I'm saying. Damien was 3rd in practice, and he obviously did a he did a little bit of a long run there. Damien's always going to be fast, but even 9th is probably not indicative of where he'll be running tonight.
Yeah, so and that's where we'll see how hard they can charge. With these saying tires maybe not being a huge factor, some of these guys might let her rip a little bit here tonight. But with that, we will look at the starting lineup for the Knuckle to Knuckle 200 here at Auto Club. You know what I just realized too? Speaking of sponsorships there, you know, Peeler didn't do his Sugar Moons Creations pick spiel there. Man, I'm disappointed.
We'll have to make him do it extra hard next week.
Yeah, or in the second half.
Or in the second
sure.
half. Or in the second half.
I'm working on it. I'm not sure why the graphics are not showing up.
Well, you know, we can talk about it a little bit. Joe Francis was 2nd in practice, 1st in qualifying, a really strong start to the night for him. Of course, we mentioned Richard Garcia showing up on the scene, qualifying on the outside of that front row. And then we got, of course, Cameron Rich and Braxton DeWeese and Jeff Green filling out the rest of the top 5. Jeff Green, I don't know if Jeff Green didn't post a very good time in practice, but he was one of the few drivers that actually improved from practice to qualifying.
Yeah, maybe got a little used to running in a crowd. A guy who's really looking to get a good run, Jeff Green. I know he's been struggling. He's had some choice words for how these cars handled. He said nothing like real life. He's never had a car that felt like you're driving on ice. But of course, I'm sure if that did happen or even come close to, you know, what one difference between iRacing here in real life is they can adjust the setups here where you kind of have to.
There we go.
Drive a little differently. What's that?
I got the graphics up.
We have a graphic now.
Oh yeah, we got the graphics are up. And there you see the top 12 right now. Dallas Myhand making a return there in the top 10. Looking to finish out the 2023 season strong. How about Gilberto Javier Gomera, the emotional support pick, starting 11th. Oh, I didn't even notice Hank Steinmiller in the field tonight in the 30 car.
Oh, Hank Strickson! Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Either did I. Awesome.
My
Old Hank
goodness.
Stank Steinmiller. Heck yeah.
You've got I want to say there's a couple of other guys we're not used to seeing. If you look a little further, we've got Jesse Cottrell's been showing up lately. He's all the way at the back, though, filling in for Gavin Hibbs this week.
Yeah, got a little different
And of course,
Different
Adam
name
Peeler.
out there.
We
So
got
you
our
guys
boy
know
Adam
we're gonna
Peeler.
go
That
green
would
this time.
All right, no worries.
right.
Hey, well, let's take a look at who's got the in-car cameras tonight. Here's Ray Bracy.
go.
All right, Tim Conrad, no Tim Conrad. Shane, no Shane, unfortunately. Zach Evans, we do have a Zach Evans alert. There he is. No high vest shown. No Robert Hill Jr. No Nick Indelicato. Ty McIntosh does not have a camera. There's Dallas, my hand. Adam Peeler, look at that handsome face. All right, Seth Rawls, no. Cameron Rich, no. Darren Staff, there he is. Has a camera a little too close to the light a little too close to the camera. Jake, his camera might load in a bit if he does have one, not sure. Jordan Turbo, no camera. And that's it, actually.
You know, Darren Staff, ever since the old macaroni and cheese incident, he hasn't shown his desk as much. But we are getting ready to go. Green flag racing, 50 laps. Top 13 cars will invert. Joe Francis leads the way, and they are racing.
You know, I talked to a lot of drivers before this thing, and there is no preference as far as the fastest groove, and they said you can run just about anywhere. And as you can see, we're already starting to fan out. We've got Hank Steinmiller and Cooper Johnson all the way up at the top of the racetrack.
And Cameron Rich was down below almost before they took the green. He's chomping on the bit. He's looking to turn his chase-offs around here. Takes that second spot. He's looking for more. He's going for the lead going into 3.
Yeah, it looks a little bit twitchy there as they dive off into turn 1 and turn 3 there at speed. But yeah, look at that. They come off turn 4 and where's the paint scheme on Joe's car?
I'm not sure. I refreshed trading paint. Oh, you gone?
Okay, so I got one. I asked him, and so he put the banner on, and for some reason, Trading Paints did not let him use his actual paint scheme. So, yeah, he'll have it fixed next 2 weeks from now when we come back.
So he is the man in black tonight, Joe Francis. He's an intimidating force to be reckoned with.
I'm already having a lot of fun watching Austin Beers. He drove it in deep into 1 and 2, but he rode the he went higher than anybody has gone all night. And in 3 and 4, he took the run and he drove it below the apron.
And the old short track kid going on the 2-mile racetrack tonight. He's looking to make a return in a loud way here in OSCA competition. But speaking of returns, Jeff Green, it's been I think he was here last week. I can't remember. Sometimes his nights don't go the longest, but hey, he's running 3rd place right now, and he's putting some work on his buddy Joe Francis running in that 2nd spot, the man in black. Going to the high side here. Yeah, it looks, and that's what's kind of cool, what I've been noticing. You see Jeff there, I think the last pass he made was on the bottom there. You see him taking the top side of Joe Francis. You see these guys just kind of picking and choosing. Wherever they get the run, they can certainly take it, so it's kind of fun to see.
Yeah, you just go where there isn't a car. There is not a real preference. It's all situational, and I like that. That's more of like the high-speed chess. It's like there is, like, you know, you have a we got trouble. It is Dylan Thomas. Yeah, I was watching Darren Staff got a little bit tight there, and he got out of it. I think that actually might have been. I think they might have made contact, but the spin was netcode induced. Dylan Thomas whipped it around back right, stayed out of trouble for the most part.
Oh, there was contact for sure, but that shouldn't have been that bad. Let's take a look at an aerial view before we say anything else, though.
Yeah, you'll see they get very, very close to actually touching, and they were probably going to touch, but the netcode for sure sends that 13 car way around more than it should have.
Oh, yeah. I think Darren was drifting up the track at a quick pace, and looked like he was just kind of easing up or getting control of that car, and then the netcode reared its ugly head.
Richie Cole's on board.
Whoa, Rashid! Oh, no, I didn't even notice him spinning. He did it!
He did.
You know, as far as damage goes, I want to say Dylan, usually overcorrecting is a disaster, but as soon as it whipped back right, he did lock it down, and there's damage on that race car, but it's not horrible. I don't think it's that much.
Does he have damage on? He has a little damage on the nose. Hopefully that will buff out. It could be catastrophic at a track such as this.
So what? Dustin Dewar had a pretty good view of it. That's a near miss if I've ever seen one. And the number.
He's coming. He actually leading him down pit road in the 18th position. So about 18th down back, coming down pit road. A couple guys in the back staying out, but Dewar leading the charge onto pit road here at lap 6 of 50. And I forgot to ask fuel runs. Matthew, did you get any of that information beforehand?
I can go find it. I just want to make note that
I got
Bojo
you.
car. Oh, Vic's got it.
I heard that 23 to 27 was the fuel run.
So this is an insurance move, really.
Yeah.
Tracy missed the
get
stall.
to halfway. He's just showing that car off, man. He's coming up with some bangers, man.
He called this he was going for like a glitch remix, but turned it into a hood sticker bomb. It is a bit of a Bojo remix.
The front of his
Also,
car says
Jones-
Bronco.
Apparently that has been there all year, and
Yeah.
I was talking to him. I had no idea. That was news to me. It is a Ford Bronco. Kynan Jones also said that they were sitting on the grid, and Kynan was sitting directly behind him, and he said, what did he say? He said, I'm getting the death stare from a cat. That is the terrifying bumper sticker Ray
Oops.
Bracey sports on the back of his car.
All right. If anybody on Joe Francis's camp can DM me the correct paint scheme and his iRacing number, I will see what I can do about maybe getting that scheme loaded, even if it loses the banner.
I think they're talking to you, Seth Rawls, if you're out there listening.
I think he might be watching football.
You got Bra in pit road
Uh-oh.
Ooh,
because he missed his stall the first time.
he did. Now he's coming back down, topping the fuel off. But, you know, also an insurance move could be just this caution in general. You know, if it's that 23 to 27, if you're kind of on that bubble, I think some of these guys that did stay out, they should be able to, you know, if they had to save maybe a little bit extra, I think they can make it to halfway as well. So it'll be interesting to see those guys who did pit. I'm assuming most of them just took fuel. Carlos, do you have any information on that?
I'm replying back to Seth Rawls. Can you ask me again later?
Oh. Yeah. Well, I mean, it might not be that. Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah. Get that paint scheme going. We'll go back to green here on lap number 8 of 50. Cameron Rich, that high vis car, looking pretty quick here tonight, and well, you know, his rival here in the chase-offs, Braxton DeWeese, down one spot in that 6th position, still kind of lurking, but just as Braxton did last week, Cameron trying to get max points here tonight. I think you know, it's still kind of weird that you know, the high vis car just kind of in that tweet. I was kind of surprised that it showed a little chink in the armor there for Cameron. Looks a little rattled here by Braxton how well he's running, but we'll see if Cameron can continue his dominance. Yeah, he got a good start here. Jeff Green trying to hold off Joe Francis on the outside, but Francis will have the angle going into one. Let's see if Jeff gets the run on the outside.
Oh, Austin Beers had a great restart. He tried to drive in there deep, and he's going to shoot it under Jeff Green. They almost went 4 wide. Really good restart for Austin Beers.
Man, oh man, Beers on the move towards the front, working on Richard Garcia. Now going on Jeff Green here for 3rd. And right on the back bumper of the man in black, Joe Francis. With all this going on, Cameron Rich with an awesome restart, he's pulling away.
Yeah, I'd be careful, though. I feel like if Austin can get clear of this traffic, I think he might have something for Cameron Rich. He's looking really, really good here.
Yeah, I think he likes these high horsepower race cars. He's rocketing towards the front, but he's battling his teammate. And we've seen teammates last
he just
week
slammed the door shut on Jeff Green. There was some contact there.
Man, oh man. And if Jeff takes kindly to that.
And then he's the only guy up top there, and he's ripping it up there. I don't know how much it's gonna work in 3 and 4. It looks like that high line works a lot better in 1 and 2. I feel like maybe he just didn't want Jeff Green tailing him going into the corner after that.
Yeah, maybe retaliation on the way, but that battle for Third spot is still heating up. It's still strong. Jeff chooses a little higher lane. Veers chooses the middle. Doesn't rip that top side.
It looks like that.
Veers will. Oh,
Yep. I was gonna say he does take it. It looks like that upper lane is the preferred lane in 1 and 2. I don't know about 3 and 4 if there is a preferred lane. It might be the bottom, but in 1 and 2, if you're side by side with a guy, it looks like you want to be on the top.
There's a few guys kind of they're fanning out a little bit, but it doesn't seem like they're fanning out as much as they are in what they can do it in 1 and 2.
It definitely.
Now with all
like,
that,
yeah, go ahead.
I can't remember, his lead evaporated a little bit.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Cooper Johnson had a moment. He let off for the corner, and I don't. No, that was actually a lot deeper than Cooper Johnson. Damian Leininger let off for the corner perhaps earlier than Cooper expected, so Cooper checked up, and Dallas Myhan did not react in time at all and plowed him to the back of Cooper Johnson and almost set the 91 into the wall. Nobody crashed out, but there's a decent bit of damage on the nose of that 15 car.
Let's see how much he can hang on currently in that 10th spot, trying to stay in the top 10 right now.
See that old Hudson Hornet there, he's looking like a pretty good pick. He started 16th, he's clawed his way up to 9th.
Yeah, he's rocking the net out. Yeah, didn't old Hudson Hornet in
What?
Oh!
Leininger spinning down the backstretch.
Oh, Braxton!
No caution.
Inside wall. No caution. That's going to be huge to the chase-offs there.
And you know what? I was just noticing as I was watching Gilberto, he was starting to get loose. And as I look at the replays of this wreck, this was caused by Jeff Green getting loose. Ooh. The 57 of Jake Garcia was starting to slide, and now there's a caution.
And there's some heavy damage to that 8 car.
Oh!
There's more wrecking here. A huge wreck. Adam Tepe.
Wow. What has transpired?
Daniel Cherry.
Kyle Carlson.
All right, well, first I want to see if we can find the first wreck.
Oh my goodness, guys were getting loose.
Must just be this far into a run on these tires. This is the first wreck here with Gilberto.
Oh no,
up ahead.
I was just watching Gilberto, and I noticed he got loose, and I looked at the replays and noticed they got loose up there too. They're starting to get loose is what caused this. This starts with Jeff Green and Braxton Deweese, and Damian just plows into it. I don't think he had time to react. You'll see the 2's going to bobble here and try to catch it. There's just too much going on right behind him.
Oh, Braxton gets to the outside wall. Oh, look at him jump on 2 wheels as well.
And I want to say the second incident was, Dallas got loose, Capiano got loose, Caden Tufts got loose. Hank Steinmiller got looser than, he got kind of loose and corrected it back.
Oh, that was net code. I don't think there would have been contact.
Yeah, it was weird how much Braxton's car veered, and you see heavy damage to both front fenders of that car. Here's the look at the incident that actually brought out the caution. What the heck happened there?
There's a lot going on here.
I really, did he just
He overcorrected
beans?
They were all getting close to too much beans coming off that corner.
Yeah, Darren Stafford actually some pretty significant damage to front.
0-0 lose.
David Westergreen was also involved. He has pretty significant damage.
I think it was a checkup. I think it was a checkup gone wrong.
Oh, yeah, Dallas, I don't know if he was just hanging on with his front end damage and kind of just came right in front of Steinmiller. Steinmiller tried to react. Ooh, snaps into the wall, gets into Caden. Kind of a chain reaction from there.
Justin Dewar had a fantastic view of this. Is the second one he's narrowly missed. He parted the seas and drove through this thing.
What position?
And he's the only one who stayed out.
No, Joe Francis stayed out, but.
I'm trying to see who had some more choice views.
Wow, look how slideways everybody was.
Yeah, it seems like they get like 10 laps on these tires and then.
Whoa! Oh, he did get some contact.
Maybe at the end there, just a nick. I don't see any damage on the car, but man.
Wow. Yeah, I was trying to look at the Replay might be just a little damage, but anyway, he takes over the lead, stays out, so he doesn't feel like there's too much damage to his race car. At least he did come down pit road under our last caution, so I don't know if he has fresh. Do you know if he has fresh tires on that last pit stop?
Oh, we missed the best replay so far. We missed the best one so far. It's Ray Bracey, and it's not close. Oh my goodness, Ray Bracey came so close to a head-on collision. Wow. Hold your breath.
Sticker bomb, that thing is awesome.
Here, watch this. Get ready.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa!
Oh my good. Oh my goodness.
That's a code brown.
Look at it. I mean, yep. There are inches between him and the nose of, I don't know who he was gonna hit. He yanked it, man.
And just slide through the grass.
Run the green.
Nothing to do there. One lap to green. Dustin Dewar choosing the outside. Joe Francis on the inside. Kynan Jones also stayed out, I believe.
We didn't really have a lot of cars get out of that unscathed. I mean, a lot of guys got. There are only a few guys that got serious damage, but guys like Drew Eisenman, Damian got a small piece of it, I think. Adam Tepe got a little bit. Jesse Cottrell and Zach Evans got some minor damage. There was a good, like, 6 or 7 cars that got minorly dinged up on a couple corners.
Well, I see Trading Paints refreshing. I'm wondering for...
that was me. I forced shut off Trading Paints.
Joe has a paint scheme.
I don't know if
No
that's...
way.
I don't know if that's the paint scheme that got sent to me. I just deleted the layer that he put on top of it. I'm going to double check to see if that's the paint scheme that got sent to me. That is definitely one of his schemes. I don't know if that's the scheme he wanted to run tonight.
It's the scheme he's been running all season.
Well, it's better than the one he had.
Okay, so then it's a simple... okay, I know what to delete on my end then.
Oh, there you go. All right,
here we
pace
go.
cars off. We'll go back to Green Flag Racing, lap 17 of 50. Dustin Dewar, your leader on the outside.
Oh, a strong get through the gears for Joe Francis.
Yeah, he's holding on, actually.
He's
side by
going to have
side.
an edge on him heading into turn 1. Joe Francis might clear him.
Might clear him right behind him. Cameron Rich, we saw how aggressive he was even on the initial start. He'll try to make quick work of the 32 and 25. Oh, man.
We've got guys getting loose. The track might have been a little bit warmer to start, too. It's getting colder now, and that's okay when the tires are a little worn in, but now these things are fresh and slick. And then it's just going to get loose because the tires wear and get loose.
Yeah, and it's going to see how who can handle it the best. We've seen some issues, especially under our last caution.
Here we go. We're 3 wide for the lead
events.
here.
Dustin Dewar up top, Cameron Rich in the middle, Joe Francis on the bottom.
Joe Francis backed out of that one. He did not want anything to do with that.
Yeah, now it's a battle between Dustin Dewar. He's holding on pretty good with the a little bit older tires than Cameron Rich, side by side for that lead. Dustin Dewar just holding a little bit of an edge. Trying to be, we talked about Garcia, who now has some significant damage. Dustin Dewar wanted to play spoiler for those chase-off guys. But speaking of another spoiler, Austin Beers, he's moving up into third. He's looking to make some noise.
Yeah, and that top line is not the way to go in 3 and 4. I mean, Dusty was able to hold it in 1 and 2, but in 3 and 4, if you're passing a guy, you want to be on the bottom. It just doesn't look like you can get those runs up. The track is wide enough for the guys on the bottom to get the same runoff running the shorter way around. However, 1 and 2, the way that exit is tighter, that's why that top's better. And Dusty, as you said, Dusty's doing a great job right now. He's got a couple of real, wow. Jeff Green slammed the throttle in the middle of the corner and worked to the outside of Austin Beers. Didn't make it work, but it was kind of cool to see. And now Dustin Dewar's got some real heat on his bumper.
Oh, yeah, and now, man, oh, man. Jeff Green looks like he was looking on the inside of Austin Beers. Beers was almost looking on the inside of Dewar. I think they think better of it in the meantime.
Oh!
Take another contact.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeff Green. Oh,
Joe Francis is slipping towards the inside wall, and
no caution.
He hit it.
No caution on the racetrack. cautions out to her in the wall. He can't get off. Man, oh man. And it was a great run for my team, Do Good. I think a couple have got involved in that wreck there and might have ended the night early. I know Dusty's just about done. Getting loose off the corner, gets into Austin Beers. Beers does a pretty good job to minimize that damage. I think he backed in the wall there.
He did have significant rear end damage.
Yeah, he backed into the wall pretty hard, but that nose is pointing in. That would have been game over there.
Really,
Joe Francis,
really.
what happened to him? Oh, he got
not enough checkup from
Yeah,
the 15.
Thomas Capiano and Joe Francis checked up, but Dallas. I'm looking at Dallas's speed. I don't know if he was watching. To be honest, he kind of just kept his foot in it, man.
And Joe able to stay off the wall, I believe there. So that's definitely good news for Joe Francis to try to be able to get back out here. But as we've seen again, it looks like there'd be several cars here, several contenders that will have some pretty significant damage.
I'll tell you who I really hate it for now. I was just about to talk about him, Neil Rutt and Gilberto. Especially Neil Rutt. Neil Rutt started 16th and had worked his way up to 5th place. He was really flying, and he's not killed, but he's got some pretty good damage on the nose of that race car. That happened all right in front of him. Gilberto also packed Jeff Green while driving into it. I mean, those were a couple guys up front that are now on pit road fixing damage. The race cars aren't going to be as fast. I mean, obviously they're not the only guys with damage, but those are just some guys that, we don't always see them running up in that top 5, and they were up there, man. They weren't just strategizing their way up there. They were passing cars and moving up there.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Some of these guys, contenders, getting knocked out, and already having our 3rd caution here on lap 22. Not even halfway quite yet, but staying unscathed is Cameron Rich. And how about Thomas Capiano? We talked to him, last week after his 2nd place run at Phoenix. Man, he's holding a hot hand right now and sitting in that 2nd spot right now. He's looking pretty good.
He's another guy that's been passing cars a lot. Tom has been coming up to the front in a hurry. He's been a little bit skittish, a little bit loose, but he's controlling it nicely, and now it's paid off for him. I don't think this is a guy today that's just going to lay over and go, running 2nd, might fall back a little bit. Thomas Capiano has brought some serious speed here.
Yeah, he's he said put the what on the dashboard, put the balls on the dashboard, let it ride, and certainly doing that tonight. But it looks like we do have someone from the infield care center, David Westergreen, who currently sitting on pit road in that 30th position. Definitely not where he wanted to be here to round number 2 of the chase-offs. And David, man, it looks like a bad scene from Days of Thunder out there tonight. What was your view of that, our 2nd caution of the night?
I'm kind of sick of people coming in here and driving everybody like they own the place when they've run 0 races. That's about it. That's all I got. Dice Sports don't deserve this. Those guys have done everything right. The guys around me did everything right. I hit the brakes, caught Zach up in it. I'm sorry to Zach, but we don't need to be having so many wrecks because people don't need to be out here because they ain't run with us all year, and we haven't had these kinds of problems all year. So.
All right. Oh, mic drop. All right, so frustration there for David Westergreen. Hopefully he can, get what he can. I think he's back out on the racetrack now in 29th. And just looking at the standings here too, Matthew, Braxton DeWeese 28th, I believe, just getting back on lead lap.
Yep, and I've been watching him. He's that thing's pretty banged up, but we can see what he does by the end of the night. He was looking. I want to say, I don't know if he ever got to 2 laps down, but he definitely had to go at least a lap down to fix damage. The way they're wrecking tonight, man, if they keep this up, we still might see Braxton DeWeese somehow wind up in the top 15. There is some significant damage on that A car, but that's the nice thing about having such a strong start to these chase-offs. I mean, you never want to wreck like this bad and fall all the way back, but he had a 14-point cushion over Cameron Rich, and Cameron Rich is having a great day, but Braxton DeWeese can have a bad half here. He can afford a bad half and still be right on par with Rich in the points. He just can't let it happen again.
We'll see what he can do here. Now we're back on under green here on lap 24. What a great start for Cameron Ridge, but man, Bojo looking on the inside here. We'll see what kind of run Cam gets on that outside coming out of 2.
Great one.
And did get a great jump. And now Thomas Capiano looking to get that second spot back from Ray Bracy as they battle side by side going into 3 and 4. Man, it looked like almost Cameron got a bigger start out, but got to give credit to Bracy and Capuana kind of closing that gap just a little bit. Might have been a camera angle, I don't know, but what are they going to decide here for second spot? Capuano definitely doesn't want to give it up, but he did a pretty good job holding on to that second spot in 3 and 4. So it looks like you can maybe kind of defend, but I think, as you said, Matthew, starting a pass and making a pass in 3 and 4 on that outside, it looks like it's a tough feat.
No, what I've seen so many times from guys who make it work is they run the top in 1 and 2. If they don't pass the guy there, they at least get the huge run off, because you do get big runs off in 2. And then they send it down to the bottom and go as low as they can and get that preferred line in 3 and 4. And that seems to be the quickest way around the racetrack.
Halfway.
Don't look now. We're halfway. Thomas Capuano right now on the back bumper of Cameron Ridge, so definitely putting those cojones on the dashboard, looking to make noise and maybe take the lead over Cameron Ridge. And man, you know, with a lot of these guys, a lot of these playoff guys wrecking. I'm surprised to see Leininger with that first caution in an ace spot right now, but it looks like a lot of spoilers up there. You got Capuano, Bracy. How about Brent Jones making a return to OSCA competition, filling in the 87 car tonight, and then Drew Eisenman. So there could be some spoilers out here making some noise. Maybe some non-chase-off guys getting a victory here tonight.
Yeah, and
Oh, Matt, my hands.
in the back.
My hand spinning around. Now he lost his paint scheme.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, it's
Uh-oh.
Joe. You're gonna have to be okay with having your paint scheme on only one of the feeds, because
Huge net code. Huge net code,
The
unfortunately.
net code it seems to be an issue here tonight.
I'm not going to rule out the possibility of contact, because Adam was driving into the corner pretty deep.
Excuse me, that's the
What on
wrong
earth
Whiplash.
is-
sorry,
Oh
sorry,
my
sorry.
goodness. I thought we missed a big one.
No, I was trying to see who caused that incident that David was talking about.
Before,
yeah.
It looks like Dallas was on his way down the racetrack, but I don't know. I can't guarantee there was contact. You can look at the entire tire width of net code, though.
Yeah, that was not great there for netcode's concerned.
And Dallas came down, but netcode definitely played a big part.
That brings out another caution here in half number 1. As Cameron Ridge still holds on to lead. Thomas Capuano second, and Ray Bracy rounding out the top 3. And now we're getting to the point, too, where if these guys pit, there's a chance he can make it all the way. Do we see some of these leaders come down pit road? Actually, almost definitely could make it.
Wondering, we'll see. Maybe it's a little early. Oh, here we go. Oh, all right. Ray Bracy's going to lead him down. Drew Eisenman makes the last-second decision to stay out. We got a lot of guys coming down pit road. I like Cooper Johnson, Damian Leininger coming down, DJ Weeks, Jeff Green, Kynan Jones. Everybody after that's got some kind of significant damage, unfortunately.
Our boy Adam Peeler staying out, taking over the 5th spot now.
Oh, Ray Bracy overshot his box. So, as far as chase-off implications, this is big for Cooper Johnson and Damian Leininger. Damian 3rd in points, Cooper 5th in points coming into this thing. The gap to Braxton Deweese will be smaller. Braxton will get a lap back and fix some more damage here. I think now Braxton will be back on the lead lap unless he chooses to fix all of his damage up again. But that car is not competitive. I was watching it just to see what he would do. He fell way off the pack. That 8 car, he is hoping for guys to crash out and get points like that unless they can fix it up any better. But this is a good call. I like it a lot for Damian and Cooper. Get some fresh rubber on those things and put those leaders into a spot to where if there's a late race caution and they want to come, they either have to pick between taking their last set and losing the track position late, or riding it out on the slightly older rubber and deal with the guys behind them charging.
Yeah, different strategies here playing out here in half number 1, and yeah, it's gonna. I'm interested to see. Do you think too? When did Cameron pit? You said. When did Cameron pit?
Cameron last went down pit road on lap 14.
Lap 14, so that's some pretty considerable lap on those tires. I got about 12 or 13 green flag laps on these tires.
And I was gonna try to also think, but I don't think that anymore.
It's kind of hard to think, isn't it?
It's not my strong suit, but I was gonna see if Cameron could save enough fuel. If there's enough cautions, do you think he could potentially make it on fuel? But that's gonna be what's maths.
Pretty far out of it.
Yeah, that's reaching out and stretching that field.
I'll tell you, DJ Weeks doesn't think so. DJ Weeks did not take tires on that pit stop. He came in for a splash and go, as did Richard Garcia, as did, I think, Joe Francis, went without tires. I want to say the first car on fresh tires might be, I'm having a hard time seeing right now.
First driver with 4 full sets of tires is Ray Bracey.
It is Ray Bracey. So Ray Bracey, Cooper John. I mean, they've got some cars to pass. They've got to go, and it's been treacherous out there. But they got 20 laps here to make up some ground. They're starting back in 18th through 22nd.
We'll see what kind of ground they can make up as we'll go back to green with only 20 laps to go, which it's a significant amount of time, but when these cautions have been falling, when these cars get maybe a little bit crazy just about now as the computer reacted weird. Pace car is off.
Whoa,
we're back to green flag racing. Oh yeah, cars wiggling all over the racetrack. Cameron Rich with another decent jump gets in front of Capuano going into turn number 1. Look at that battered car of Darren Staff going into second place. It looks like he's going to do a slide job on Thomas Capuano. Oh, here comes the crossover.
Capuano's going to slide back under him.
Yep. Cross me over, I'll cross you over. As they still duke it out for the second spot. I'm amazed at that old 45. See that damage on the front end of his race car still holding on pretty strong right now.
I'm going to make sure to keep my I'm watching Carlos's feet, and I'm keeping my camera panned on these cats that I say cats literally with Ray Bracey guys that came through and got tires.
Yeah, so they have Bracey currently in the 18th spot. And is Darren Staff's head that small, or is his headset at the top of his head?
Why are you such a meanie?
That's the mac and cheese. Now you talk. I mean, this man he's not putting on his camera anymore. He's about done.
Does he do anything right? God damn it. Oh, man. Well, what he is doing right now, though, is with that damaged car, you look at that parachute that's on the front of his car, that damage. That's significant amount of damage on this race car, but he is still pedaling this thing, and man, that thing looks like it's raced at Martinsville, and he's holding on to second right now. That's pretty awesome.
Cooper Johnson.
He's battling Thomas, though. I'm sorry, he's just duking it out with Thomas Capuano for that second spot. They're not deciding this battle yet.
Say they've been 3 wide like crazy back there. Damian and Ray have been stuck behind it, but Cooper Johnson just passed 5 cars in 1 lap. He's currently splitting Zach Evans and Jake Garcia. Cooper Johnson could evolve, and I'm not just saying this because I picked him. He could evolve into a real threat to win this race. Make it up ground. I was on my way to saying a real threat to win this race.
Some more dedicated wham.
It'll be a workout for Cooper Johnson, guys.
He's a wackily wabbit.
You sound like Barry from friggin' Big Bang Theory.
You know, I never really watched that show. So
Yeah, we gotta kill the joke, man.
I'd watch this battle around 4th and 5th. We've got guys slip sliding everywhere. Our old friend Adam Peeler just about lost it, but he hung on.
Adam Peeler's trying to hold on to the top 5 position over Austin Peters right now, clinging on to it. But man, those guys are duking it out and battling as we're looking on the 3-wide TV multicam, looking about that battle around that 5th position. And I'm kind of noticing here too on that smaller screen on the bottom, Darren Staff falling back a little bit in that 4th position, but man, still giving a hell of a drive with that damage on his race car, falling to Drew Eisenman for that in the 4th position right now.
These cars are truly terrifying to watch. We got, Austin Beers. Austin Beers, that's not going to work. My friend Austin Beers. He just drove it into the door of Drew.
There was contact.
This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Here comes the field. Darren Staff, Joe Francis, they're all stacking up behind him. And here's Cooper Johnson and Ray Bracey at the back end of it. The guys with tires, this is not what they want to see. This is doomsday right here.
Are we at Auto Club or are we at Talladega right now?
Benjamin's trying to block it. Oh, that's going to be a big wreck. Maybe not as big as we got more guys spinning. It is a big wreck. It is a big wreck.
Caden Tufts. Garcia, Gomera involved. Here we go again. Darren Staff with some more damage as well.
I mean, Austin Beers was throwing some risky moves, but unfortunately, I mean, he drove it in deep as he's been doing, and I just don't know if Drew expected him to be there. When they took off into the corner, Drew had a whole car length and a half on Austin. Drew came all the way across his nose, but I just think maybe Austin threw it in that much deeper than anybody expected him to. Like, yes, in the end, Drew comes down, but it's kind of hard to place blame because Drew comes all the way down the track, but Austin throws it in from that far deep. You know, guys aren't expecting you to do that ever.
What does Vic think about this?
Well, I'll see what Vic thinks.
See where that's a tough call.
I'll say this does not work for Cameron Rich at all because Cooper Johnson and Ray Bracey were already ripping their way through the pack. They went under this thing, and that was like 5 free spots for each of those guys. They're going to be restarting like 4th and 5th on much fresher tires. Maybe not 4th and 5th. It looks like Cooper Johnson ended up 5th, and Ray Bracey's going to wind up 8th.
Wow. I'm sorry, as you were talking about that, I just heard Vic, his ruling. If we can get him up here, this is interesting. If
he's not here?
Yes, I've decided that this caution's on both the 1 and the 92. I usually don't call it on that, but both drivers 100% could have avoided that incident. So it's on both of those guys. It's not a racing deal this time.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
They were playing some risky games before that. They definitely weren't racing nice with each other. And, by the way, the strategy has taken hold, as we've expected. Cooper Johnson, Ray Bracey, Damian Leininger are staying out on the racetrack. The rest of the field has elected to come take their tires, and honestly, I feel like if there was a time to come take the tires, it's now. If they waited another 5 or 6 laps, there might not be time for Cameron Rich and the rest to make their way back up through the field, but now they're going to have 10 laps to settle this thing, and honestly, only like, 5, 6, only had 7 cars stay out, guys. I mean,
yeah, Cameron coming out in 8th.
This could come down to the wire.
This is gonna be biblical. This is gonna be, I think, a fun one to watch because Cameron, as he has all night, is gonna be chomping on the bit, and we've seen a lot of these drivers out here chomping on the bit as well. And Cooper Johnson again, coming into tonight, kind of in that bubble position to maybe put himself into contention. You know, he's looking like 40 some points back, but you know, if he has 2 good halves, and especially with Braxton DeWeese having a rough half here, I think he's where he scored.
Up to 22nd.
22nd. So you know, if Cooper Johnson can get a win here, he can at least put a pretty good dent into his deficit and make himself a title fighter here.
You know, not just Cooper. Cooper Johnson is the way that I just about knocked my headset off my head. The way the math works right now, I think. If he had 27, 34, he was 44 points back from Braxton Williams coming into this thing. So he'll if he can finish up there, he'll probably about chop that in half. Damian Leininger's even closer there. Damian Leininger, the gap for him was 37 points, and he's restarting there in 3rd. they're not going to make up a whole lot of ground on Cameron Rich. I mean, they might finish in front of him. They might not. Either way, Cameron Rich is still 8th on the fresher tires. Everybody right now is chasing Braxton Deweese, and this half 2 is going to be super interesting because that point situation is about to get flipped on its head at the checkered flag of this first half.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to watch, folks. Buckle up and watch the excitement unfold as we go back to green. 11 laps to go, and we don't have as many spoilers in the top 10 right now. We still have Bracy, Dylan Thomas, after getting spun for our first caution, sitting there in the 4th position. Brett Jones running in 5th right now. Yeah, is he 5th or 6th? We're in the lineup. Yeah, he'll be 5th. He's on the inside. Okay.
Kind of Jones 6th.
So yeah, kind of Jones, our chase-off guy. Dallas Myhand, Austin Beers, the other guys that are not in the chase-offs in the top 10, looking to play spoiler here tonight. But we'll see what happens as the pace truck dives down pit road. Cooper Johnson leading him to the green flag. 11 laps of racing action here to go.
What a jump by Damian Leininger to stick to the bumper of Cooper Johnson.
I think working together on that restart.
I think he went before Cooper, man. He punched it before the 91 did.
Yeah, they got an awesome start. Left Bracy in the dust. Now Brett Jones battling Bracy for that 3rd position. Sorry.
Look out, though.
Cooper
Here comes.
Johnson. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, here comes Cameron Rich. He ripped that top in 1 and 2, gained a couple spots, got stocked up behind Dallas Myhand. We're watching the battle for the lead, but we're going to be looking for that bright yellow 29 car, seeing if he can make his way to the front. Lou's trying to run the bottom.
He's going to try to take every run he can possibly get. And look at this. Damian taking looks. He's maybe flashing his hand there a little bit, maybe trying to hit that intimidator button on Cooper Johnson. But Cameron Rich on the charge up to 6th, and he's definitely looking for more. And to go.
Ray Bracy, Damian Leininger, and Cooper Johnson were the top 3 guys on that strategy. It seems to be the winning strategy right now. Cameron Rich has got a couple more cars to pass, and the tire advantage isn't great for Cameron Rich. He's going to have to work for it if he can get by Brent Jones and Dallas Myhand, and here he comes. What a corner for him. Oh, he drove He drove into him.
He drove into Brent Jones. He hangs on. What a save there by Brent. He almost... Oh, here we go. Thomas Capuano, Dylan Thomas. Oh, man. Joe Francis involved. Heavy damage. Adam Tepe.
And I was surprised with Cameron Rich. Maybe he didn't expect... What he was probably thinking was Brent Jones... I mean, usually at that point, guys are washing up the corner like Cameron was. He probably didn't expect Brent Jones to stick in that middle line for as long as he did. He was coming up the track like the 87 wasn't there.
Yeah.
Now, what caused that second incident? Oh, wow, Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas came up the track, and I'm not quite sure what happened there. It looked like, I don't know if he was still kind of trying to gather it up on that apron.
Oh, no, he had it gathered up, but what he saw was a slow Cameron Rich in front of him, and he was trying to keep his outside, and there was a car there.
And actually hearing over driver chat, Thomas Capuano said 100% my fault, felt bad. I think just like you said, try to shoot that gap. And you know, it's at that time of the race where you try to get whatever you can, and sometimes, especially in a situation like what just unfolded, there was a lot to unpack there, and sometimes you make a move.
Yeah, you can see there. I don't know how Vic's going to see this, but this one kind of is more of a racing incident than the last one for sure. But Cameron Rich drove it in there on the inside and then moved up. 87 held his line, which is fair. Just Cameron probably didn't expect him to hold the line that high. Probably because the 87 knew the 15 was up there, wanted to give the 15 as much space as he could. But I want to know what what Vic would think about that.
Say Joe Francis got taken out in that, and we might see some kind of ARCA braking penalty for Rashid Coles, unfortunately. I don't remember the last time I've seen anyone carry that much speed.
Rich did come up into him, Chris. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
these guys are putting Vic in a very fun spot. I'm sure he's very pleased.
No, I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm not even gonna tell anybody. I'm just not gonna talk about it.
All right. You know what? Fair enough.
Based on the
now, go ahead.
Oh,
No.
we're so nice to each other.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something still. I was gonna say, based on the hit Dylan Thomas took after the wreck had concluded, I'm glad these are virtual race cars.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know, sometimes you wonder, man, what these wrecks would be like in real life, and sometimes I don't want to wonder, but
I don't want to wonder with this one. I think I just saw somebody get hit at 180 miles an hour to a stopped race car.
yeah. So
Well,
Vic laid down the ruling, calling it on the 21 of Thomas Capuano, which I think kind of goes along with what Thomas said. Yeah, he knows what he did, and unfortunately,
when you admit it, you kind of put me in a position where I can't not call it on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yep.
you know, I think that's a fair taking of responsibility on his part. He was in the moment. You know, late in the race, you're towards the front. You've got the fresh rubber. The one guy who's got fresh rubber that might be quicker than you here's your chance to get around him and take control of this race. But go up there and have a shot to win. He went for it, and just there wasn't enough room.
Yep. And unfortunately, that stretch of awesome runs for Thomas Capuano, at least will end here in half one. But we do have half two to look forward to. Maybe he can rebound it then. But now we're getting one to go to green. We'll get the green flag with 5 laps to go. Cooper Johnson still hanging on to that lead, and you got Damian Leininger, who was looking pretty sporty out there as well. But looking back at Cameron Rich, restarting in that 5th position.
Now.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know how significant. It doesn't look that bad. He got hit a little by Thomas, and of course the damage with Brent, but he's 5th though. I mean, maybe that damage just balances out his fresher tires and helps out muscle him. Another little storyline here is Braxton DeWeese. He is Joe Francis. 20. Yeah, Joe Francis is back on the track, but there is no front or back end on that car. Thomas Capuano is on pit road and out of the race. We've got multiple extra guys 2 laps down or out of the race. Braxton could really minimize the damage here. There is a slim chance he comes out with the points lead heading into half two. Now with Cameron Rich having his issues.
Darren's still on track. I thought that car died.
Somehow.
That thing is the demolition derby car, and that's where I was gonna say, if anyone's given Cameron Rich a pep talk with that damage, it's got to be his teammate in the 45. He's got to be like, "Hey man, you saw what I did with my jalopy, man. You can go and win this thing." And we're about to find out what's gonna unfold here. 5 laps to go. Pace truck dives down pit road, and Cooper Johnson's gonna hit the loud pedal any moment now. And green flags back out. Damien got a good jump when he was starting 3rd.
Oh, Austin Beers spun him back.
Maybe 3 wide going into 1 there.
Yeah, Austin Beers losing multiple positions already. Did not have a good restart.
Yeah, and it's still unfolding here. See if we can get a good run, but he's fallen almost out of the top 10 right now.
All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Cameron Rich is clear to 4th. He's got the next 3 guys on that other strategy in front of him. We'll see what he can do. He's got 4.5 laps.
Not a lot of time to do it. It's going to be one thing, I think, to catch these top 3. It's going to be another to get around him. And something's definitely wrong with Beers' car. Well, I mean, I guess he's hanging on. He's running the top.
He's spinning back up the truck. Oh, no, Braxton hits him. Caution, more damage to the 8 car. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. When he was just about ready to turn it around, gets collected with the 32, brings out our 7th caution here of half number 1.
We didn't over under.
Yeah, that might have been a good thing.
Well, I would have taken the under, and I would have lost.
I also would have taken the under and would have lost.
Gets into the wall. And Braxton DeWeese really nowhere to go there either.
Just, I don't know if Braxton's going to fix it at this point. He's on the lead lap. I feel like maybe he's just going to stick out there and pass anybody that wrecks on the white flag, and that's what he's hoping for. The car's already jumped.
Yeah, you know, we're going to be about in a green-white checkered situation. You know, we are going to be in a green-white checkered situation once we go back to green, and you got
Hang
to,
on.
I guess, get what you can.
Oh, yes, Carlos.
Cooper's shutting off his engine.
Uh-oh.
Don't know if that's just because he's got nothing to do and is bored, or if it's an actual development.
When did they pit last? Do you have
It's
that?
late
Was it
enough.
20?
Leininger is clutching it.
Uh-oh.
Bracey's alright. Oh, sorry, Cameron Rich is alright. Bracey as well looks... No, Bracey's also clutching it.
They
So-
came down pit road on lap 29. What did you say that fuel run was? 23 to 27?
So what this could be, though, you know, we'll be
For our
under...
white checkers.
Yes. You know, they could be close when it comes to that, because it's, you know,
Get ahead
29...
here.
Yeah. If we get to a second green-white checker, they don't want to get in the position where they'd have to come down pit road.
And with
By the way,
how
update,
loose
Braxton
these
DeWeese
things
had a
are, these
meatball.
older tires. Oh no, that's devastating.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be some required there.
If there's not much, he can get back out there. But well, this will be the. Well, fortunately for our guys clutching and coasting up there, this will extend into the first green-white checkered. So, I thought we were going to have a naturally occurring one. I wasn't paying attention to the laps really. We only have the maximum of 2 attempts, so it will be close if we get all the way to that second attempt. But they're in decent shape. But you can never be too sure, can you?
Yeah, and, you know, this caution came about 1 lap after the restart, so if that happens again, they could be close on that fuel. And so, but we do know, I believe, Cameron Rich, what is that, 10 laps to go that he came down pit road? So everyone, basically our top 3 are going to be pretty good on fuel here.
Yeah,
Most of
everybody
them,
else.
There's, I think, some sprinkled strategies in there, but...
You remember that disgruntled David Westergreen we talked to in the booth a little bit ago?
Whoa, no way!
Maybe off the
I
back
didn't
of
notice
Lamar
it.
Jackson's. Oh, what was that? You didn't notice what?
I was just saying, until you said that, I didn't notice he was up there.
Yeah, maybe
Wow.
off the back of Lamar Jackson's 2 passing touchdowns heading into the half. At the end of the first half with a 21-10 lead over Cincinnati, maybe David Westergreen's going to get a score of his own here. And hey, that stat. Sorry, I never finished my statistic. He gave me earlier, told me to say. Most top 10s at OSCA at Auto Club. However, 0 top 5s. He has 7 finishes of 6 through 10 at Auto Club, and well, here we are. He's 8th.
When we talked to him a few moments ago, I think he would feel like a top 10, not top 5, would be like a victory.
Got to stay with the stats, man. Got to stay.
But
on
agree,
par.
I'll have to check my fantasy. Chris DeWeese on the YouTube chat saying only 24 seconds of required repairs for
Wow.
Okay.
for DeWeese. Hey, halftime Joe Mixon, 15.7 fantasy points for me. He was predicted to
I
get
got
me
Lamar
11.
Jackson.
I have him in another league, but I'm using 2 on both leagues.
And I'm always surprised Mixon. He always seems like one of those scary picks. He's like hot or cold, I feel like, always.
He hasn't. I saw his stat. He hasn't. His highest rushing total for this season is 87 yards, but somehow he scores enough touchdowns.
It's like a touchdown vulture. That's all you need to be.
Can Cameron Rich vulture the win from these 3 boys? I know I'm talking about him a lot, but he is the first car on fresh tires, and Ray Bracey's first up to get chomped on by him. Although Damien's been getting these real good restarts with Cooper Johnson, they've got this front row on lockdown.
Yeah, and it's gonna be big for Damien. I think Damien and Cameron to get a good start on that outside. We're about to find out our first attempt at a green-white checkered. Green flags out. A decent jump for those guys on the outside. Cooper getting the. Oh man, Beers again slipping up on the top side.
Big for Cameron Rich. He had a good start. He's going to hang it around that top and look for the big run. He's going to take that run off of turn 2 and throw it down low. See what he can do with it.
High, wide, and handsome.
Here he comes.
He might
Huge run for
cross
Cameron
over.
Rich.
Into the inside, and man, he is moving down that backstretch, trying to get towards the front with only 2 laps to go. Coming out of turn 4, getting the white
Cooper Johnson
flag.
got tight. Damien's got to run. He's going to get close to him. He might even get to his quarter mile before we get to the turn. Maybe not that close.
Throwing a block, throwing down low. White flag, 1 more lap to go here.
Cooper Johnson starting to struggle with the handling of his car. He's tight again. Damien's going to get closer. Damien's loose. Cooper's loose.
Damien, man, it's going to be, I think, a battle on the top 2. I don't think Cameron Rich is going to make a run, as he's still got a handful with Ray Bracey, but coming into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Unless he pushes up bad out of turn 4, it looks like he can hang on unless Damien gets a run. Here coming to the stripe, Cooper Johnson takes half number 1. Damien 2nd. Cameron Rich, I believe, gets Bracey for 3rd. Bracey finishes in 4th. Dallas Mike that gets in the top 5.
Somebody was wrecking there at the end.
Oh, yeah, I missed that going through the standings.
David Westergreen continues that. He now has 8 top 10s without a top 5
How about
at this
that?
track.
At 7th. He even advanced a position on that restart, so good job.
Neil Rutt.
Neil Rutt, I forgot to pick in the top 10. How about that?
Yeah.
Whew. Was that Peeler that wrecked on at the end, by the way?
I'm not sure. I do know for sure. With that 13 car invert, we're gonna have Hank Steinmiller leading us to the green flag for the second half.
Oh, that'll mix things up, and that's gonna be huge too for some of these guys with the jumbled up. Yeah,
Hi.
hey Adam.
Did you have fun?
I was having a lot of fun, and then I wasn't.
You know what? I feel like you could ask about 30-some drivers out there tonight. They'd probably say about the same thing, except for maybe Cooper.
Man,
he probably had some rough times out there too tonight.
I was happy because I still had a set of tires left, so I was very happy to be in the top 5 with a set of tires still sitting. But people do dumb things, and dumb things happen.
Yeah, that will happen. But tell us, how is the handling of these cars out here tonight? It seems like a lot of these boys are having a handful.
I actually think they're more planted than we thought they would be through 3/4 of the corner. And then I've seen a lot of people get really loose coming off the corner, and they're just not everybody's racing, but they're not racing like with the mind of everybody around them's dealing with the same thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So like, my car's loose, but I don't care that guy up there's car's loose. I'm just going to drive anyway. Like, there's no giving and taking off the corners, and everybody knows you can't drive these things decently anyway. But I mean, it was fun. I liked it. I started 30th and was 5th, 6th when I got wrecked. So I'm having fun.
Heck yeah! Hey, love to hear it. But I think before we get into picks, quick, do we have enough time to get an interview with Cooper Johnson? Quick?
No. I don't think we have enough time. We're gonna have to do it after the half tube.
Okay. So just if anyone can relay that to Cooper, we'll.
I already did.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I did like the.
You okay there, Matthew?
I stretched. It was awesome.
Oh. There you go.
Sorry, Adam. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
Did not pitting and was cycling back and forth, so that was kind of nice to see, being inside the car anyway.
I'll be curious to see what some of these strategies are. Do you have a game plan? Do you have a strategy going into a half number 2?
Similar to what I just did, I think. If cautions come out early, maybe pit for the fuel, but try to save a set until you get that caution that might come out with 15 to go or lower. I think is the plan. That's kind of what I was thinking this past time, and it seemed to work. So I guess I'm gonna do the same thing. Just hope that I actually clear it this time and not get sideswiped as I'm driving by.
Hey, fair enough. We'll look forward to it. But Vic, who's up first here in the picks?
So I'm up first, and I was debating on who I want to pick. And I'm gonna do a Carlo strategy here. And I'm gonna double down on my driver. I'm gonna go with the 14. I have to. Up next is Peeler.
I'm not prepared.
I figured as much.
Where's my little sheet that I had up earlier? I don't know where it is. I'm gonna go with, and you can tell me if I can't pick this person. Give me Kynan Jones.
All right,
Lane start.
you can have that.
Okay. Yeah, have fun.
Up next is
Yeah, you
Carlos.
too.
I'm not prepared for this, but I don't know how many chance I'm gonna get this chance. I'm gonna go with the 57 of Garcia.
Okay.
And then Goody.
You know what? It's past this man's bedtime. I'm going with the old man. Give me Jeff Green.
And that
I love
means
how-
that we saved the best for last.
Oh, surely. Surely the best for last. You know what? This is difficult. It's very difficult. I'm gonna Ray Bracey. Let's go Ray Bracey.
That's a good pick, honestly.
I was thinking about double. I couldn't believe Cooper Johnson fell all the way. I wasn't sure if to go with Ray or Cooper, but I feel like Ray looks real good, and maybe I want that Cooper Johnson pick later. Who knows, man? Who knows? I got to do something. Where did Carlos's pick finish in that first half?
Disappointed
14.
in more ways than one.
It's okay. You're still like 40 points ahead of me, anyways.
Hey, chewing away, nipping away. That's part of the process.
Speaking of nipping away,
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to talk about. We do that a lot. We always bring up the good points. We're just so excited to say them.
Yeah.
I wonder how that affected the points there. Braxton DeWeese, where did Braxton DeWeese wind up? Honestly, he ended up 21st. That's not horrible considering what could have been.
Yeah.
But I want to say that points lead is only a few points, and it is actually advantaged Cameron Rich. But Damian Leininger and Cooper Johnson finishing second and first, respectively. Excellent jobs on their part to also take advantage of Braxton DeWeese's misfortune and even gain just a couple points on Cameron Rich. The big loser of that, unfortunately, was Joe Francis. Joe Francis wound up finishing 23rd, and he did not have a points cushion. It's going to drop him pretty severely out of this championship fight, and he's going to need a couple of good halves and some misfortune by others to get right back up there to that points lead.
Now I'm kind of looking through the standings here as we look at the driver lineup for half number 2. We're looking at Cameron Rich, and a lot of these guys, Cooper Johnson, again, who are knee deep here in the chase-offs. Cameron Rich, we've seen how aggressive he was pretty much throughout the whole half number 1. Does he take it easier now? Maybe even doing the mental math in his head, knowing that he has that slim lead over Braxton DeWeese, who has got to work his way up from that 21st position.
It's weird. The way I kind of see it is, think about, like, and I know Thursday Night Football, so it's prime to make a football reference, but you think about NFL teams, and they come out guns blazing, and they have a great first half, and they go up by like 3 scores, and then they're like, okay, we've got a good cushion. Let's just be conservative and take it easy. And before you know it, it's a tie game with like a whole quarter of football left. So for the long and over wordy analogy, just to simplify it, no. I think you just got to drive the way you drive. And if you get conservative, knowing like, you got to be careful. Obviously, you can't do anything stupid, but if you let off the gas too much, it's like sometimes you'll trick yourself into mistakes when you do things outside of your own norm. You drive a car the way you're used to driving it, and it's very easy to lose control of it as soon as you start doing things a little bit differently that you may not be prepared for because it's just not in your muscle memory. And that's a little bit deeper than I think this goes. I can think of a few different reasons as to why I don't think you should let off the gas pedal. I think you still got to go and go for everything you can, and just don't do it differently. Stick to what works for you.
Hayden Tufts, Kyle Carlson, and Jake Scarborough did not grid up, and as far as I can tell, they are not in pit road. So 3 drivers are possibly not starting tonight, so making a 29 car second half.
Okay.
All right. I was gonna say with your speech there, I believe one of the Packers coaches, I think it was Mike McCarthy, said to kind of keep your foot on the throat and confirm the kill, basically. Yeah. So
That one. Double tap if you watch Zombieland.
Yeah, right. You know, one guy I'm interested to see is the 87 of Brett Jones starting in second spot. We've seen him pretty racy, even with Cameron Rich before they made contact and kind of parlayed that wreck towards the end of the race. But now he's got some clean air. He's got Hank Steinmiller up there with him. But this could be pretty fun. How about the Landshark lurking there in fourth? So the new faces up towards the front. Jesse Cottrell, is that how you say his name? Cottrell?
I have no idea. No idea. Yeah, I'm really excited for Neil Rutt, though. You got your pick for that first half. Man, he was flying through the field and still clawed his way to an 8th place finish. Now he's got track position and a clean race car.
Yeah, how about Westergreen? Now a little more life revived in him. I mean, still got that awesome 6th place run, but actually has a car to boot here in half number 2, and we'll see what goes down here as the pace car dives off here for half number 2 of the knuckle to knuckle 200. Hank Steinmiller in the lead, and they're drag racing down to turn 1. Oh, someone getting out of shape in the back. Might have been Capuano towards the back half of the field. Steinmiller looking good here. He's got the whole racetrack to work with as Brent Jones and Jesse Cottrell battle for that second.
Whoa.
Oh, he got loose. That's Drew Eisenman. He's going to save it. They're going to scramble to get around him. The track temperature to start this thing off has dropped. It is pretty nice if you catch my drift. It is a lot lower than it was for that first half. These cars are going to be loose.
Jeff almost coming down into Drew. I don't know if you realized there were 3 wide there. Almost was a wreck. But Hank Steinmiller holding the pretty wheel, leading lap number 1. Brent Jones in second. And then a little bit farther back from there, basically kind of Jones on back, or behind kind of Jones, there's a gaggle of cars battling for position.
Oh my goodness, what happened there? That was weird. Jeff Green and Ray Bracey both got way out of shape on that top line going into the corner. Like their cars, I don't know, that was weird. They both had to correct it going into the corner. They had barely turned in. It's like when they let off the gas. Maybe that transferred.
I heard that kind of happens. I think Neil Rutt was telling me that's kind of how the car gets a little squirrely on the first couple laps. Once these tires heat up, they should be good. Let's see what happens here. We complete lap number 2. And basically still behind kind of Jones. Not a whole lot settled. Now they're just doing a 2x2 right now. Duking it out. How about Dallas Mahan, Cameron Rich working their way up through the field, up 4 and 5 positions. Dallas Mahan worked his way into the top 5. Man, he could be a dark horse here tonight.
Good. I'm going to keep my eyes here on Braxton DeWeese. That first half was a complete disaster. He started 21st, and he's still 21st. Hasn't really gone anywhere since. And you know what? For that matter, I'm not noticing a lot of movement from our faster guys at all. I mean, Ray Bracey has lost a few positions. Damian Leininger has not moved at all. Our movers are Austin Beers up 6 spots, Cameron Rich up 5 spots. I don't really see anybody else moving. What was that?
My hand up 5 spots.
Man, Dallas Mahan hauling already.
That's fast.
And I wonder for Braxton DeWeese, is he playing maybe conservative with, especially what we just seen that, you know, cars ahead of him just a few moments ago kind of gaggled, so maybe not wanting to throw himself into the Hornets' nest quite yet.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit more tired. You know, we see after about just 8 or 9 green flag laps, these things start to get bad in terms of grip. They get slip sliding around. Of course, you can combat that, which I would hope Braxton Ruiz, by not passing anybody in cars this early, that's what he's doing, because he can't afford to mess around. I mean, that's a huge mess of cars, by the way. He can't afford to hang around too far behind that. If you look at David Westergreen on back, they were 3 wide, like 3 rows deep.
Yeah, they're thinning out a little bit, but there's still some cars there battling 3 wide. And man, you can see cars all over the place in 1 and 2. I think about every line. Oh, someone in the wall there coming out of turn 3. Who was that?
I didn't see the guy in the wall. I was watching Neil Rutt get loose, but
that might be. Was that Kynan? got in the wall? Not sure. Someone got in the wall there. But anyway, we continue racing green flag here on lap number 6. Austin Beer still making that charge towards the front, up plus 8 spots. Cooper Johnson right behind him, looking to be pretty sporty here once again in half number 2. And David Westergreen, man, I'm thinking he's just hoping none of these fenders get too dented too early.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? That guy, you know the statistic. I don't think it matters what happens to David. He's going to finish 6th or 7th regardless. I think he knows that.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't just jinx him now.
Well, I didn't pick him. Oh, yeah, you can still jinx him. You didn't jinx without picking him. We've been doing it all year.
Yeah, right. I'm especially good at it. Damian Leininger trying to work his way up a little bit through the field. Jeff Green, after falling back on the start, trying to work his way around teammate Neil Rutt the third, who again I think he was kind of his MO even in half number 1, kind of lurked in the back half of the top 10 and made his way up to what was the 8th position in half number 1.
Starting to see that 8 car slowly climb forward, working on 18. Nothing too significant yet. Guy's struggling right now. Drew Eisenman, he is really struggling with the handling of his race car. He started 5th. He's currently just surrendered the 13th spot to Darren Staff, who's up a couple of spots. Ray Bracey he stopped the bleeding, but he's having a hard time getting going. Damian and Cooper are finally starting to move up the field. They've gained a few spots themselves, but who stalled is Cameron Rich, which is really interesting. He is working on Dallas Myhan, but Dallas just cleared him again. Passing seems to get kind of hard once we get strung out a little bit here, and I think there is some draft at play here for sure. It's a really difficult car to make ground with, and everybody's having to be so diligent with not overcooking it off the corners. And Cameron Rich is going everywhere but the apron to try and get around Dallas Myhan.
And as you see here, it looks like Myhan will keep the advantage. We'll see how high he goes in turns 1. It looked like he was shooting up a little bit higher there.
I don't know if this works for Dallas. That bottom's been better all day. Dallas is going to hang it all the way until the end of the corner, and Cameron Rich will get clear for the 4th spot. But Dallas, I think he might have wanted to do something about that, but did not.
He's right on the bumper, hitting the Intimidator button. And Dallas, he's running
Better not be.
Larson race here.
Starting to see guys get loose.
Teammates there, I forgot about that. I was wondering what you meant by why did I forget that?
We might have been right about Braxton DeWeese. I'm starting to see some guys bobble, and Braxton is passed for 17th, and he's gaining on this pack in a hurry.
Yeah, now that it's thinned out a little bit, it's time for him to pounce and reclaim what is rightfully his, or what he feels like is rightfully his, and that is the points lead. Lost in half number 1. He knows he's going to have to be perfect, get his car in, or keep his car in pretty good shape to be around at the end to take the sword away from Cameron Rich, who did move up to that 3rd spot. So Cameron maybe did the same thing there once he was charging up through the field, kind of took it easy for a few laps. Looks like he is on the charge right now. Going to be trying to chase down Brett Jones about a half a second back. No, actually less than half a second back to Brett Jones.
They're starting to get loose, man. It's starting to get scary. Oh, David Westergreen and Jeff Green. A couple of greens almost making contact.
Yeah, not good. Darren Staff. Man, that car looks a lot better without the parachute in the front nose. He's up 5 spots as well, so a little bit of a mover there for Darren Staff. He's looking for more as he's in this gaggle of cars with the...
they hang on to it. Look out, you got Ray Bracey with a full head of steam right behind you. And
he pressed L2 to intimidate.
He did. Man, and that's where you know he's a young kid. And that was cat-like reflexes to stay off the back bumper of Neil Rudd after he got loose there. Nice move by Neil Rudd.
He hangs on to it. Here comes Braxton DeWeese. He's taking advantage of all this.
And DeWeese, well, up to 12th already on the charge. He's on the loud pedal. And wow, look at him on the bottom, ripping the bottom side. Ooh, wow, what a good run for Jeff in the middle of the corner, though, on that top side.
That was weird.
Man, he hit the NOS button there. What the heck?
That was the most weird mid-corner surge I think I've ever seen. That didn't make any sense. That kind of
Cameron Rich is second.
Yeah.
Cameron and a half second back now. Hank Steinmiller will keep a point on that and see if he can close in on Steinmiller, who's led every lap so far here in half number 2. And for how wild and crazy it was in half number 1, hopefully it doesn't get too crazy here.
Jeff Green and Ray Bracey, I think, probably could have held hands with how close they got going into turn 1.
Maybe they're eating a sandwich, just passing it back and forth between cars.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Tossed his BLT over. Here you go.
Yep.
Done with it.
Yep. I have a couple bites left. Here you go. But the guy trying to take a bite out of the lead. Cameron Rich losing a little bit of ground right now. Steinmiller. I don't know if he's kind of regrouping, collecting, maybe hoping to see if Steinmiller burns off his stuff here as we're on lap 14 of 50. And I don't know if I should say this, but we're getting to kind of the point where I think some of these drivers are thinking about green.
Huge contact with the outside wall for Ray Bracey.
He's falling back.
That was interesting. That was Darren Staff taking off to the bottom of the corner, and I don't know what happened to Jeff. He kind of went straight, and so did Ray. They both went straight. That was, or at least in comparison to Darren Staff, they went straight. And I think that was Jeff probably seeing the 45 slower coming down across in front of him, maybe hoping he could get to his outside, and Ray saw it coming, was trying to stay high, and I mean, that 7 car is destroyed.
Yeah, he's falling all the way back to 20th, but man, I said Cameron wasn't closing that gap, and no more did I say that. Now he's just a couple of car lengths up. They're sideways. Man, so definitely, some of these guys like Cameron Rich, up 9 spots. We see Braxton DeWeese, kind of lurking there. Up 10 in that 11th position. Austin Beers, too, up 10 spots in 4th. I don't know if these guys on the long runs able to keep these cars from getting snappy out of the corner. As now Cameron Rich right on the back bumper of Steinmiller. And man, he didn't have to put a whole lot of pressure to get Steinmiller sideways last time out of turn 2. We'll see what happens this time.
Going drive it deep there, show his nose, but I mean that bottom just doesn't work great off coming off the corners. Although you know what, that 29 car might have a little bit more tire. Hank got a little bit looser than you'd want to get off of 2, and he did not get the run off that you'd want to get off, run a little bit higher here. Cameron Rich seems like he's able to run half a lane to a lane lower and get the better drive off the corners. We'll see here. They're running about the same speed, and not much of an advantage there for Hank. Cameron is chipping away, getting closer and closer. If he has a good 1 and 2 here, he just might be at Hank Steinmiller's door number coming down the backstretch.
Oh, no, he chooses that outside line.
A fake.
Oh, man. A fake, but, oh, man. Steinmiller keeping it up top.
Oh, Hank's loose.
Oh, boy. Cameron saw it at the wheel, and now Cameron's got the run, but he's going to be on that outside going into 3 and 4.
He clears him.
Clears him. Wow, I didn't think he had enough of a run, but here we are. Cameron Rich, new leader.
He's been money on that top all day long, and Hank was up there. Cameron was just up there more. Now Hank's starting to struggle. Cameron Rich has got more rubber than him right now, and looking throughout, seeing if anybody else is moving up. Cooper Johnson has been moving up. Saw him getting real loose. Richard Garcia having a real nice run, rebounding from his miss. Here's what we'll do. Just so you can watch what's going on here.
Badding out here. But Cameron Rich pulling away, and I think Brett Jones is gaining a little bit of position for that second spot. So definitely Steinmiller, who led the first portion of half number 1 here, definitely falling off a little bit. There you see Cooper Johnson, who not as quick working through the field as Austin Beers, but now it's about to change as Cooper Johnson takes over, trying to take complete control over that 3rd spot as they dive down into 3.
Another important position changing hands, Braxton DeWeese going by Damian Leininger. That is now plus 12 on the day for Braxton DeWeese. If we get a caution here, that would be huge for him, but he's making it work just fine on this green flag run. I don't know if he can catch Cameron Rich but he's doing a really great job mitigating that damage. That points damage, not physical car damage, that is.
Right. As Braxton's choosing the Highlander, right? He was running high, wide, and handsome.
He's running it pretty good, too. You know who's really starting to run? Richard Garcia's running it good, too. I know we said Richard was having a pretty good day. I thought he was... I thought he went a little bit too hard early. I hadn't paid enough attention to him, I guess. He's starting to really pick up ground here on Dallas Myhand and Jesse Cottrell, and I thought we saw Cooper Johnson get clear for that 4th spot or got close, but Beers was able to fend him off. With Jesse Till here and Dallas here and Richards here, this is turning into a pretty sizable scrap here for this 4th spot. They're really, oh wow, really playing lane games there. Austin Beers, I think Mirror driving turn 1 there, trying to keep Cooper Johnson at bay.
Yeah, and you know, just to note, last time I said this, we jinxed, almost had a wreck, but now on lap 22 of 50, wondering if what the strategy is going to be. You know, I think they'll open up maybe in just a handful of laps here or so. But do you short pit? We've seen what Cooper Johnson.
Austin Beers. This is.
Yeah, he's gone
early.
Yeah, coming down pit road, and if there's a green-white checker, if we go green, it could pay off.
Well, that's quite early. That's really early. That is right on the edge of that fuel window.
And he's rolling the dice in that number 1 car. But hey, you know, again, not running for points. Well, he's got the owner's points on the line, but Austin Beers throwing something at the wall. Let's see if it sticks. But right now, I don't think anyone's looking better than Cameron Rich. We'll see when he decides to come down the road.
Oh, no, we got one more. That's Jeff Green, Darren Staff. Thomas Capiano, the only takers this time.
I'm surprised we're not seeing Hank Steinmiller, who seems like his tires are about gone, come down pit road here.
Fun. If Austin Beers pitting that early and being relatively close to the front, when this all cycles out, it's going to be chasing that 1 car if he runs enough laps on those fresher tires. Brent Jones, David Wester, Richard Garcia signaling they're pitting. Drew Eisenman.
Pit road, David Westergreen, Drew Eisenman follow. Like Dustin Dewar also coming down pit road. This, yeah, the big pit stop here is as Cooper Johnson does retake, or not, Hank Steinmiller, I'm sorry, retakes Cooper Johnson, currently running in the 2nd position. More takers, I think, coming down pit road.
That was the first half. Hank Steinmiller coming this time. Now we're going to see what happens with Austin Beers, because here comes Cooper Johnson. I think, did Adam Peeler pit already? I think, did Adam... When did Adam Peeler pit? Adam Peeler is doing a 2-stopper, I believe. It looks like he came in on lap 15.
Oh, wow. So he's interesting. Well, hey, again, he's the guy who could gamble here a little bit.
This isn't going to work out great for Austin Beers. Cameron Rich is currently rejoining the racetrack in the lead, actually. Oh, Beers might steal it. Ooh, he's going into the corner deep to try and get it from him.
Oh, he's on the outside. I think Cam's going to be able to hold him off here.
Yeah, actually. All right. I mean, Cameron Rich is going to have the advantage in the long run here. He's got a couple lap fresher tires, but Austin Beers is good on old tires. I mean, he will get everything he can out of those tires, and he might clear Cameron Rich here for the time being.
No, not quite decided yet. Good run on the outside, but only quite able to clear him going into 3. Let's see if Cameron Rich can hang on here as we are cycling through pit stops. 25 laps to go. I think Cameron Rich, he might have won that bet. Oh no, they're still side by side.
Oh, Beers is hanging on, man. He's got a little bit more speed. Use that top, Austin.
He's trying to use that top. Cameron, I think, is going to try to shut the door and see if there's a crossover move here. I think he's going to try. I don't think he's going to able to quite get the run. He might have to surrender to 2nd place in the meantime here, but Man, I wonder how much he had to burn those tires just to try to hang with Cameron Ridge. These guys have checked out on the rest of their field. I think they got about almost a 4-second gap between these two guys, and Dallas Myhan currently running in the third position.
Yeah, Steinmiller has dropped all the way to 5th, and that's interesting. Richard Garcia, did he short pit? I'm having a hard time keeping up here with the pit strategy. He kind of short pit. Dallas did short pit. I'm sure the way this
Garcia
is
went down pit road the same lap as Cameron Rich did.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Braxton DeWeese pass on Brent Jones for 6th. Looks like Braxton waited a decent amount of time to pit. He pitted as late as Richard did. Okay.
See,
Well,
Steinmiller gets by Garcia there for the 4th position.
never over till it's over, but Cameron Rich had an excellent run in and out of pit road, as did Austin Beers with the short pit. Austin Beers' short pit might turn into more of a long play here. He was dropping back 4th or 5th, starting to struggle, holding on for dear life, really. If this thing goes green, loses either way, and probably finished 4th or 5th anyways once the rest of the field catches up to him. But if we get a caution, everyone's going to come down pit road and take that last set of tires, right?
Yeah, so track position he will have too, and gotta wonder how close he's going to be on fuel as well. That'll be interesting to point out. And Steinmiller, as we've seen him fast on those short runs, now working on Dallas Myhan for the 3rd position. Cooper Johnson, we've seen him up towards the front, work his way up towards the front, trying to work on Jeff Green, who cycled after pitting relatively early in that ace spot. Cameron Rich pulling away, trying to get the maximum points here. You know, again with the heroic drive, I think, by Braxton DeWeese, especially here. I guess you can even say in half number 1, just didn't rebound and finish the thing, but with the jalopy car he had. But you know, battling his way up 15 spots into that 6th position. Cameron Rich wanting to take advantage. Yeah, he's there.
Sorry, I was going to say, he's got the next 3 right in front of him. Oh, Dallas Myhan loose. Just barely. Richard Garcia is able to work to the inside of him.
And as much, and these guys are putting on a really good show, but I just in the name of what could happen, if there's a caution, and especially after Braxton gets around some of these guys, you know, up towards the 3rd position, if we had a caution, put them on even tires, I think the 2 best guys on the long run are our 2 title contenders in Braxton DeWeese and Cameron Rich right now.
Yeah, and they have that rare ability to make it work on the long and the short run. And overall, a decent night for Braxton if he can get out of this thing with a top 5. Obviously, that first half bites. Cameron Rich had that good first half. Cameron Rich, if nothing else goes wrong, it's currently his race to lose. Cameron Rich will come out of this thing with the points lead, but Braxton in the middle, 3 wide, still got to get out of this clean. Braxton was able to have a complete and utter disaster of a first half, still come out within striking distance of this points lead the way things run right now. And I'm talking like it's over. We've still got 17 laps, and we've still got most of the field running. So there is always the possibility of a caution, especially with these guys still racing each other hard, with the grip falling off, with the intensity rising up. It's going to be big if we get that caution and everybody comes to fresh rubber.
Only 2 drivers have pulled out of the race, and that's Rashid Coles, who actually is still in pit road, so he may not have pulled out of the race, but Dylan Thomas in the 13 is out of it.
All right, I think Rashid Coles was right ahead of Cameron Rich just a few moments ago, so maybe decided to duck down pit road, not wanting to interfere with the leaders of this.
Rich got a black flag from it.
Oh, maybe he had to serve the old black flag. As Braxton DeWeese getting around Garcia and Dallas Myhan, he's a little less than a second away from trying to chase down Hank Steinmiller in that 3rd position, who's one of those guys who has that short run speed. We haven't seen him get the long runs down quite pat yet, but we still got 17 to go.
Yes, and I
Whoa!
wonder if that's at play right now because Hank Steinmiller is steadily, by almost half a second each lap, tracking down Cameron Rich. I'm wondering if Cameron Rich isn't. I know I said you don't take your foot off the pedal, but there's another half second there. Cameron Rich, I don't know what's going on. Might be in cruise control. I don't know what he's losing a lot of time right now. Maybe he's just playing gap management and he knows he doesn't have to push. And he wants to have those tires if he wouldn't be saving fuel, would he?
No, I think so.
There's no reason to. He pitted right at halfway through the. I don't know.
And I don't know if he has the lap car of Thomas Capuano ahead of him. I know he's trying to work his way around him right now. He does get cleared of the 21 car, but yeah,
Steinmiller's coming fast. I'm sorry, over half a second a lap at this point. I don't know what it is.
He's flying, but I think we've seen that early on in the run too, when Steinmiller got that big lead, and I think Cameron in that middle of the pack when he was running about fifth was kind of standing pat, maybe losing a little bit of ground, and was able to flip that switch late and pull away. And I don't know if that's what Cam's just trying to do to keep those tires, because we've seen it a long run. Steinmiller, we know he has that speed, and yeah, he is close. He's almost to a second.
This one should be stalling, I believe.
2 seconds now.
You know, most of the tire wear that you incur is in the first 10 laps of a run, because that's when you're like, hell yeah, I got fresh rubber. You go crazy with it. Those tires are fragile, and it's really easy to burn off a lot of rubber driving as hard as you do. Maybe that's what Cameron Rich is taking care of him early here and just playing for the long game. If he has the best rubber and still has a gap and is able to take off and simply drive away these last 14 laps, he's got nothing to worry about, barring a caution where everybody takes tires, of course.
Look at the river mirror.
Yeah, he's...
You know what?
Uh-oh. What happened?
A little kink in the spoiler.
Carlos doesn't have a feet up.
I don't have a feet up. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, I wish somebody said something.
Oh, I thought
you
knew.
had it tucked up.
He did, and then it went off. Here we got the feedback up.
Like 15 laps like that. I thought Carlos was still working on it. I was like, man, he is...
I had some tech issues for a while, I'm not going to lie.
I didn't think it was that long. Okay, well, we're good, though. We were making it work. You wouldn't be able to tell if you were listening.
Yeah, so a little bit of damage. Austin Beers losing a little bit of ground, but 2 gaps, or 2 second, it was a 2 second gap from Hank Steinmiller to Cameron Rich just a few laps ago. Now it's hovering around a second and a half, but his toughest challenge might be right here, trying to get around that one car of Austin Beers. I think Jeff Green just moved back into the 8th position past Brett Jones. I think there's a little bit of a moment there between those cars. There's kind of a gaggle from 5th on back.
Here comes Hank Steinmiller running all the way to the bottom. Now Beers is going to have the preferred line in 1 and 2, but you know what? Nope, Hank's going to clear him. Wow, great 3 and 4 by Hank Steinmiller, and I have to assume he's gonna get up there to Cameron Rich. He's gaining a couple tenths laps, so he's gonna get close, and then maybe Cameron just hits those afterburners and just flies. Because unless Hank Steinmiller found something that nobody else has, I fully expect Cameron Rich to have a good 430 seconds more tread on those tires than Hank Steinmiller does at this point.
You would think so, but you know the way that well, Dusty has some damage on the back end of his car, but or there's no bumper there anymore. But you know, with Steinmiller, you know he's normally I think on the box for Damian Leininger and choosing to get off the box into the race car. He knows what he did in that first stint to burn up those tires, so you know he might have learned something. I'm impressed by that speed he's still having this late in the run, able to although now it's kind of hovering around that second half. Yeah,
yep, they ran nearly identical lap times last time around, and now you can see it has stretched out ever so slightly. And yeah, you see the graphic down there. That was before he was gaining even more before those laps on the graphic showed up, and now It's very slight, but Cameron Rich is beginning to break even and perhaps even put a little bit of distance between him and Hank Steinmiller.
And a lot of those laps, too, were Cameron Rich working around these 2 lap cars that are ahead. I think they're battling for position, Capuano and Dustin Dewar, battling for the 23rd and 24th position. They will let Steinmiller go through. Now he turned it on a little bit more. This lap, he's 1.4 seconds back, but yeah, definitely the bleeding stop. Well, Capuano might be a little bit of a hindrance right now for Steinmiller to close that gap, with only 9 laps to go now.
Gap still didn't move that much that time. It shrunk by just 2/100ths. Just to detail some things we got going on. We got some big things going on here. Braxton DeWeese had worked his way up to 5th. Richard Garcia took it from him. Jeff Green passed him. Now Brett Jones has passed Braxton DeWeese. Not so much as they're passing him, but Braxton is hanging on for dear life. He's got Damian Leininger pulling up behind him right now. I don't know what has happened to the 8 car, but we've seen long run points from him this entire race, but he is really struggling with his car right now. He's got Drew Eisenman. A good comeback for Drew, by the way. We saw him start 5th and come in like a rock down to 16th, up at the top 10 here. Looking at what is going on with Brad? Is he saving or he's slow on the straights?
Again, he went down pit road the same lap as Cameron Rich Richard Garcia. Chris DeWeese on the YouTube chat saying cars fell off.
Apparently,
cars fell off. Oh man,
it can't be that bad. I mean, he's dropping to 11th now. He's dropping. He's really fading.
Surprising we haven't seen this all night from Braxton DeWeese. Well, he did last too long in half number 1, but just that long run pace he had in that first stint here in half number 2, I'm surprised that it just fell off that much, unless just the dirty air that I know he had a gaggle of cars around him before his car fell off. If that had anything to do with it, just changed the handling of the race car and took a turn for the worse. But as far as Cameron Rich is concerned, the best possible outcome for him is he's still holding on to a 1.3 second lead over Hank Steinmiller with only 6 laps to go.
Guys, Alex Kenton had a black flag when he went down pit road, possibly speeding. Got it cleared, and then exiting pit road, commitment line violation, got another black flag and had to drive it back in pit road again. Austin Beers pit road.
Oh wow.
Austin Beers pit road.
Is
Fuel
is
early?
Oh,
Yeah,
Austin, he did pit a couple laps early, but this is a little early for him. He pitted 2 laps earlier.
Unless it's a foregone conclusion he can't make it. So you got to wonder if maybe Braxton is he safe?
You know what? The gap is down to just over a second, and Hank did pit a lap later than Cameron.
Cameron Rich did hit on lap 24, so it's 1 lap shy, but let's go on board with Cameron Rich.
It's almost
he's turning it off.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, that car is off.
Fuel mileage. I mean, Dallas, my hand was dropping like a rock for no reason. I mean, hey, it's turned into fuel mileage.
You see how Austin Beers surrendered his strategy. One of the first cars down pit road. You see him just getting off pit road. And one guy who's not saving, like you said, Steinmiller, he's about a half second back. You know, a little bit over a half second.
I mean, at this point, I don't think he's got enough pace to close this much of a gap to Cameron Rich. It's just going to be about staying as close as you can and pressuring Cameron Rich. You can't allow Cameron Rich to be comfortable and have enough gap to save fuel. I don't know, does Hank have enough without? Yeah, he pitted a lap earlier, but is that lap going to be enough for him? Has he been able to push without saving?
Yeah, 2:45 to take the
Oh boy.
It seemed like
Cooper
it happened later.
Yeah, Cooper. These guys must have thought they could save it. Now, you know, push comes and shove. We're seeing some guys come down pit road. As far as like Green, you know, he's not running for points. If he would have gambled, but he must have known he was short. Cooper Johnson, Richard Garcia, they're 3rd, 4th. Can they possibly make it?
And I was wondering, I was like, that wasn't like Braxton Deweese. That wasn't like what we were expecting him to fall from 5th to 12th that fast. But it's like they suddenly realized, they looked at their fuel and they were like, oh crap, I am not even close. And then backed it down like crazy.
Yeah. And Braxton's still dropping back quite a bit. He's falling with 12 or into 12th with some of the guys ahead of him coming down pit road. And now Cameron catching Austin Pierce. Yeah, 1 lap to go. We'll see who can make it. Who's going to come up a little bit short. I think, again, a 0.7 of a second lead for Cameron Rich. That pace, he's going to have enough, but it's going to be what's left in that gas tank. It's going to be the big factor here. Steinmiller, really, I think he's dropping off the pace. Did he run out of fuel?
Oh, he's loose.
He's still, if he hit it, he's got enough, but he's just hoping Cameron Rich runs dry. I mean, Cameron's not far enough ahead to be able to coast, but he's calculated. He might have enough here to write this thing out of turn 4 and take it.
I think he's running behind Austin Beers, drafting to the line. Cameron Rich wins half number 2. Hank Steinmiller finished second. Man, some of these boys behind him. Let's see if they can make it down pit road.
Oh, Cooper Johnson, third on the last lap, wrecked coming off on the white flag, coming off of turn 2.
Did he run out of fuel?
No, he overcorrected after getting loose.
Oh,
he
he
wrecked. Oh, he got loose off the corner right in front of Garcia and corrected it into the outside on the last lap. That is huge for his title hopes.
Oh, man. And does he have enough gas to get going?
No, he's just stuck
His
there.
car stopped.
He's destroyed, and Drew Eisenman went through the grass to avoid him.
Boy, back. Oh, boy.
How much beans actually in the corner? Oh!
Oh! And how about after all that, Louise trying to save fuel?
Oh, there goes Drew.
Oh, Drew Eisenman.
Things are interesting. For
Oh
Drew.
my goodness! That's
that
probably going to be a penalty.
Who hit him there?
Who did? I actually don't know. Who was that?
Cameron
Rich
out and came back.
I think it's out of fuel. We're going to take a look at that again. But that took out a lot of drivers from the 91 trying to get back on the racing line. Here, let's take a look at that again.
You're gonna see.
That was Darren, I think.
Darren
Oh no, was it Darren Seth? I'm gonna say no. It wasn't Darren. Darren's fine. Darren was able to. No, it wasn't Darren.
But he was glitching out. Are you sure it's not?
Darren crossed the line. Darren did cross the line with a clean car.
Oh, Peeler!
Who's that?
Oh, it was
that's
Peeler. It was our boy Peeler.
Oh no, Adam! Oh man!
Oh man.
Oh come on, poor guy.
But going through the rest of the finishing order again, Cameron Rich winning, Hank Steinmiller second, Richard Garcia came home third, Damian Lanninger fourth, DJ Weeks in fifth, Neil Rutt, what a solid night for him.
Neil freaking Rutt, man, with the double top 10.
Yeah, I love it. In the 6th position, Adam Tepe 7th. He needed a good run here tonight too. And Joe Francis 8th. Braxton Deweese ends up back in the top 10 and 9th, and Drew Eisenman.
Adam, are you okay?
I'm checking on Cooper. Cooper's okay. So, yeah, that was interesting. So I was behind like 4 cars, so I couldn't really see anything. And then all of a sudden, they all scattered. And then I realized what they scattered for, and I turned right and didn't turn right enough. So, just want to apologize to Cooper for that live on air because I don't like doing that. So that was fun. I hope y'all had fun. It was fun in the seat for sure.
It was. We didn't even realize the excitement of the drama that unfolded with gas mileage. We thought a bunch of the guys were going to be good, but even Cameron Rich, Hank Steinmiller, they were coasting at the end. How close were you on fuel at the end?
I did 2 stops. So I got married in the back right at as we dropped the rag, and I wasn't going anywhere. So I just said screw it and tried 2 stops, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. We're on a fill-in basis anyway. So I did 2 stops, which was a lot of fun because I got to pass a lot of cars and feel like I was really good at something, even though I was on new tires, but I wouldn't let myself admit that. just enjoyed passing cars. So yeah, I was way good on fuel, but like I said, I was just needing a caution at the end or a caution in the middle of the race or something. But I don't know. I had fun. I like driving these cars. These guys are good. It's fun to get in the car every now and then and feel it and see it firsthand, and that way we can talk about it on here.
Heck yeah, love to see. Glad that you had a great time. But I gotta ask, is your dog just as excited that you got back in the race car? Or does your dog have to go out?
Dog's got to go, so I'm gonna go take care of that. Y'all have fun on interviews, and I'll see y'all in the booth next week.
All right, sounds good. But Matthew, I don't know if you're gonna have to run here, but we can.
I'm gonna be able to get Richard.
Richard? Well, actually, surprisingly, I'm gonna let you interview the winner of half number 1, Cooper Johnson.
All right, we do get Cooper.
Yeah, we do get Cooper. We didn't get a chance
promised
to interview him after half 1. Yeah. So we'll bring Cooper up here, and Matthew,
all right,
take it
Cooper,
away.
we don't need to talk if you don't want to about the second half, but that first half, the win has to be the highlight of the night.
Yeah, we can talk about the second half. It's not big deal. The second half was all my fault. We'll just get the bad part out of the way. The second half was all my fault. I had third pretty much. I felt like I had third, and I had been loose off of 2 all night, and then the last time I just got a little bit too loose, I guess, and I had the wheel straight, and rear just kept spinning and kept me sliding to the right. So yeah, that's on me. Finishing 20th. I'm sorry for anybody who got caught up in that. You know, I obviously didn't mean to do that. That's not what I wanted to. Was to end up sideways on the last lap in turn 3. But yeah, as far as the first half goes, I'm ecstatic about the first half. Haven't won yet this year, and it's a good time to win. Is when you're in the playoffs. So happy about the first half at least.
Yeah, and you know, we were that exit of turn 2. Turn 4 was fine all night. The exit of turn 2 was biting guys all night. Of course, the biggest shock for you was just the situation that happened, but it was probably the 8th or 9th time we've seen somebody have a mistake or a mishap off 2 and lose it. But was it any different the second half? I know the second half was totally under the lights. Did the car drive any differently? Did that slight change in track temperature do anything? Because I thought maybe it would help on the longer run, but I was not really sure watching.
I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't remember what my tires were in the first half, but as far as just grip level, it felt mostly the same. I think it was mostly just that everybody got faster. So it wasn't like you felt any more grippy or you felt any, different compared to anybody else. It was just that the track itself got faster with the cooler temps. It was still pretty loose off of 2 and 4, at least the way that I was driving it. And I think even with the cooler temps, you felt a little bit more confident to push it a little bit more and kind of push your tires a little bit harder because of the cooler temps. And so you felt like you can kind of hang it out there a little bit more, knowing that you'll have that little extra grip that you didn't have in the first half. But as far as the track itself, it didn't really drastically change too much. It was just subtle things.
And then obviously that first half was ridden with cautions. I think we ended up with 7 or 8. I don't, from my point of view, I don't know if people expected that second half to go green, because it seemed like when guys at the end of the race started saving fuel, they dropped like rocks and it was completely set. Was fuel an issue for you, and was it really a surprise for anybody that it was going to go green like it did and fuel was actually going to matter for some of the guys racing today?
We knew fuel was going to be an issue when we came in. We were, regardless, you were going to be a lap short because you had only like 25 or 24 laps of fuel. So you knew you had to at least save a little bit if it went green. But the first half, it was a mixture of, knowing that you have enough fuel to make it to the end. And then obviously some of us were saving, everybody was saving on all those cautions in the first half just to have enough to make it to the end and then make it if there were a couple of green and white checkers. And surprisingly, I don't know if it was really all that different in the second half. I could make a couple of passes really late in the run in the second half. But the first half, it was track position was key. Unless you had a giant advantage on tires. I was kind of able to slice and dice my way through a couple of guys in the first half to make up for being farther back after taking the tires earlier than everybody else, which got me the lead. And then with all the cautions, obviously that really helped out. And keeping Cameron back there because Cameron was the guy that we were watching. It was like every caution he was gaining one spot closer and closer and closer after the pit stops, and so we were just trying our best to kind of keep him back there. But all in all, I had a really fun night tonight, and besides the very terrible ending to the second half, it was fun.
And of course, I feel like it's been a while since we've gotten to talk to you. We finally had something go your way tonight. We finally get to talk to you up to here under the circumstances of a win. Even better, not just the podium. So if Goody or Carlos or even Vic have anything they want to say to you.
Well, actually, you covered a lot of the points I was gonna hit with him, but so since we have off next week, of course, Thanksgiving, I do got to ask you, Cooper, what is the one dish that you expect every year when you hit the table for Thanksgiving?
This is a good question.
Stuffing. I'm a big stuffing fan.
Good man.
So if you don't got stuffing on that table, I am walking out the door.
What's your go-to Thanksgiving pie?
Come on, come through for me.
Honestly, chocolate pie. I'm a huge
Wow.
chocolate pie fan. I know that it's, everyone's like pumpkin pie or...
It's pumpkin
apple
pie. I'm
or
sorry,
something.
you got that wrong.
Yeah, I apologize.
Hey,
There's no wrong answer.
I actually haven't heard of chocolate pie. Now I'm curious. I want to try it.
Oh, you get like a French silk pie? Ooh, yeah.
French silk pie is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a pumpkin pie fan myself. Actually, any pie, even like a good apple pie. Man, they're all good.
Pie's just awesome, man.
I was
gonna say,
yeah.
There's a pie joke in here that I can easily make, but
I thought about it.
So
maybe when we
thought about how to bring it in.
After dark segment, we'll start the OSCA after a dark segment one day, maybe.
Oh man.
Well, before you let anything like that slip, maybe Cooper, do you have any shout outs you want to give or things you want to give?
Shout out Johnny Eckert and all of Outlaw Racing for sponsoring me this year. Another podium, first win for them with me. Shout out to both of those guys supporting Alzheimer's awareness and breast cancer awareness. Shout out Batflip Podcast, Batflip Breaks. Search them both up on YouTube. All of South Shore for backing me all season. Took long enough to get that first W. Regardless of whether I win the championship or not, at least I got a W out of it. So, and shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast every week. Carlos, Goody, Matthew. I know Peeler's not in here. He was in the race, but shout out to him as well. Shout out to Vic for putting on the league. Always great stuff from all you guys. And that's pretty much all I got.
Hey man, I know overall it could have been better, but congratulations on the win, and when it rains it pours, and you are close enough to that points lead to where you could take a couple swings at it and you could be a factor here by the end of it. It's just nice to get that monkey off your back. Congratulations again, and have a good rest of your night.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of other guys didn't have some good halves, so hopefully we don't lose too much points there. Thank you very much.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
He is right with that, though. I think the only guy in the chase-offs that had two good halves was like Damien and Cameron. Everybody else had something go wrong in one of them.
That's true. And in 2 weeks we go to Daytona, so that could, if he has a good night there, he could be right back in the thick of things as well. So
that is in 2 weeks, though, and I, fortunately, 2 minutes I have to leave you. That is not enough time to stick around for anything else. You guys have yourselves a happy Thanksgiving next week. Enjoy the good food.
Yes, you as well.
I will see you all soon, and I don't know where the rest of your interviewees are. There's nobody in that interview waiting room.
We're gonna have to do some poaching. I believe Garcia's left the building, so we'll have to make this a little bit shorter of an interview.
Say hi to Cameron for me, and Hank.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do. That was Matt Bayuk leaving the building as well, but next up we're gonna poach Hank Steinmiller, coming home in that second position. And Hank, man, you look like you led a lot of laps here in half number 2. You got that clean air from starting up towards the front with the 13 car invert. But man, it seems like once you got clean air, it seemed like your night kind of changed. And Cameron looked like he was pretty stout on the long run, and then the whole fuel mileage drama at the end. How close were you on fuel at the end?
I ran out right as I hit the line. It sputtered right as I crossed.
It seemed like you were going a little harder than Cameron there as well. Was it just kind of, again, not being in the points here in that 30 car, the special event car? You got off the Damian Leininger's box there. Was it just kind of go for it and fuel be damned, kind of a little bit at least?
Yeah, I had an extra lap on him. I stayed out another lap, and I kind of babied it into the pits when I did pit. I probably gave up another second or two there. I don't know that it made a difference. I'm not sure how much he had when he was... Did he get to do burnouts? That'll tell us how much he got.
I think he ran out during the burnouts, or
okay, so
while he was going to start them. Yeah.
Alright, yeah, because there's about 2 to go. He started putting the foot down. Once I got within about a half second, that was when he... Either way,
let it rip.
If I kept that 2 seconds, I think he still had enough to get through.
Oh, yeah. So, you let at least let it hang out all on the line here, and did what you could to try to get that checkered flag here tonight, and put on one heck of a show. But when did you realize? We were kind of watching the in-car cameras with relatively well under 10 to go, almost 5 to go. How soon was it when you started kind of clutching it, make sure you could at least cross the line with somewhat fuel?
I didn't. We were all gas.
Oh, I thought we were showing your in car too. You never. Oh, you were just balls to the walls, huh?
Yes, all gas.
All gas, no brick. I love it. That's the mentality of a super sub. I love to hear.
Yeah, I didn't have to clutch anything. I knew that we were about a 10th away. The speed fall off probably would have helped, and then once I was catching them, I was hoping the draft would help, but I really don't think that made a big difference in it.
Okay, yeah.
And if I ran out coming out of 4, I felt I had a big enough lead on. I had no idea where 3rd place was, but I figured I had a big enough lead I could coast from there.
Yeah, you finished about 6.5 seconds ahead of Garcia in 3rd. So yeah, let it rip. I love it. I love it. So again, you made a few starts here in this season in OSCA. Is there, there's a few races left of the season. Are you expecting to make any more runs?
I think my driver would be really mad at me if I did. I got an
email tonight. Oh, you did? I was wondering. Yeah, he's in the middle of the chase-offs and everything, and he let you. Well, didn't let you, I suppose.
No, he didn't let me.
Yeah, was it one of those things you had to ask for forgiveness instead of permission?
Yeah, just kind of didn't talk about it. Mentioned it, didn't talk about it again.
Especially when you have one of the biggest divas in all of OSCA and Damian Leininger as your driver. It's no matter what you would have done.
I needed a week off. Hearing him yelling.
Yep. I only picked him once this season. He was crying too much about it. I was about. He's still complaining about it. I tell you. When I picked him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, almost instantly. Yeah.
He only gets one good half out of these things.
I think was it Atlanta when he got taken out? I don't remember that.
Yes.
Being on the pit box. Yeah.
He was already talking about it.
Yeah. He was bringing it up today. So now that you're going to be going back to on the pit box, you had Damian have a really good night here tonight as well. Your driver into the chase off. So what are you and the 12 team? What are you thinking? Looking forward to the rest of these chase offs.
Hope to not hit anything. Daytona is next week, right?
Or 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right. So Daytona. Hope he doesn't hit anything there. What are the last races?
5
flags.
5 flags and
Homestead. On Homestead. Yep.
Okay. 5 flags. He'll be all right in. I'd expect 2 top 5s there. Homestead. He's gonna hit the wall. We're done once we hit Homestead. He's gonna wreck.
Was he gonna try to rip the wall and gonna knock it down?
He's a first scene kind of guy, but he's got to work on his finesse.
So you got to turn the Mongoloid into a ballerina out there.
Yeah. We'll work on it. We'll see where we get, but we're gonna need some help.
Yeah, you got a much taller task than I think you had out there tonight. But before we let you do the shout outs, I got to ask you, Thanksgiving next week. What's your go-to dish when you hit the Thanksgiving Day table?
Go with mashed potatoes. That's
A
probably
lot of gravy.
Yeah, give me, put the little hole in the potatoes with the gravy in it.
Yeah. Are you one of those guys that mix the corn with the mashed potatoes?
No, I dumped the turkey in it, some hot sauce too.
Ooh, I like that. That sounds fun.
Let's get turning early.
You make everyone pay for what you've done.
Uh-huh.
I love it. But with that, any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, thanks Vic for letting me drive the car. It was fun. If you give me a little more gas next time, I'll win. Maybe a little more grip too. Need to work on the car here, Vic.
I'm not in control of that, man. You're gonna have to blame the crew chief.
All right. Well, either way, thank you guys for letting me race.
Hey, it was fun having you out here. Hopefully, see you out there here in some capacity. Maybe when Damien gets in Victory Lane, you can join him and make him less of a diva in Victory Lane as well.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I know you're not a miracle worker, but do what you can.
I will. I'll do my best for you guys.
All right, sounds good. Well, you have yourself a good night, and yeah, we'll see you. See you when we see you.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
Yep, you bet. Hank Steinmiller coming home in second spot, 12th in half number 1. I'm trying to get him. Thank you. Next up, we'll bring in half number 2 winner and new points leader, Cameron Rich. And Cam, you had that high vis car shining bright out there tonight, and man, you had a fast hot rod. You got third in half number 1, and looked like you had the long run speed figured out, even short run speed. What was kind of the secret out there of getting it hooked up and keeping it hooked up all night long?
I think not getting ran over from behind. That was probably the difference of last week, but no, not really. I really wasn't. I mean, I can say all I want about last week, but I wasn't super comfortable. New Phoenix is just not my vibe, so I'm not really surprised how that race went. And I know the Auto Club has always been one of my better tracks. I really like this track, and I'm really, really sad it's going to become like a Copart lot now. It's a really good track, but yeah, I feel like we had the speed to go out there and probably win half 1, 2. Just cards didn't work out, which is fine. P3 is all right. The main goal was to gain points because Braxton swept last week, which was the last thing that I needed personally, but just needed to gain some points on him tonight, which I think we did pretty well. So time to go into Daytona and lose them all again, I guess, right?
Yeah, so I mean, at least you put yourself in a good position to head into Daytona, at least.
That's true, yeah.
And I think that's all you could ask for. And you're usually a calculated, aggressive driver, but it seemed like that aggressivity, again, I don't know what word I'm even looking for there, but it was ramped up, especially in half 1 on these restarts, chomping on the bit, trying to get your way up to the front. Was that just to gain the points, get those laps led, dominate the race? It was kind of fun watching you try to work your way through the field, and especially even when you did it in half number 2. Man, I just can't believe that you had that long run and short run speed. What was the kind of the trick of not burning those tires up?
I think it's just with this track, you really got to be smooth because the car is going to want to both push and be loose depending on what you're doing in the corner. And if you can just kind of mitigate that and keep the speed up in the center of the corner, it does you pretty well. And that's actually how I was able to save fuel a lot of that second race and still keep my lap times up. I was thinking, hey, what would Johnny Eckert do? Oh, he'd just be fast while saving fuel at the same time. So let's just do that. I was kicking the car off into the corners and just kind of coasting up until the point where it started pushing a little bit, and I was like, that's the point where the car is starting to lose its grip and unload, and I'd kick the car back on, and I really wasn't losing a whole lot of time doing that, so I kind of just kept doing that, most of the race, and it worked out pretty well. But yeah, I really don't like to be super aggressive, especially on restarts, but that last race, or not the last race, the first race, when we were getting those like 1-2 lap runs, you know, it just gets frustrating when, you know, I came out like P8 or something when I stopped, and that's really a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because I knew a lot of the field had already stopped by that point, and it's not like I could just stay out because I was not good on fuel or tires, so I had to pit. So it's just, you got to get your way to the field at, you know, somehow, and just didn't work out. We didn't have the time to do it, just with the cautions and all that. But P3 is, honestly, I thought I wasn't going to be able to gain like any spots there for a little bit, just because we kept getting the cautions and the cautions and the cautions, and I wasn't really going anywhere.
Yeah, and well, hey, I even thought you had a shot, you know, with some of the guys that did stay out or a little bit older tires in half number one. Thought you had a puncher's chance to win, and wasn't quite able to get that done. But you know, looking ahead, you know, you talked about Daytona. What's kind of the outlook? Do you play it safe? Do you kind of keep that aggressiveness going next week into Daytona?
I think you kind of have to be aggressive, because I don't think like Braxton and Damien and them are going to play it safe. They're going to come out swinging, probably, you know, every race to the end of the season. So I feel pretty good about Homestead and Five Flags. Those are two of my favorite tracks on the service. I think I'm not too worried about those. I think that those will be a straight up fight. But Daytona, yeah, I don't know.
But that track, it scares me.
Yeah, we'll pretend like it's not on the schedule, and I'll take a week off or something.
Just go out there, collect your points, go home, and see what happens, and reassess from there, huh?
Basically, that's almost how Phoenix was. I showed up at practice and was legit like 20th place, and I was like, my goodness, I cannot be this far off. And yeah, it turned out to be I wasn't really on my game there. So I hopefully won't be slow at Daytona. I don't think that'll be the issue. Just gotta kind of hope that everybody else minds their P's and Q's. And it's pretty wild, I gotta say, to go from what 5-6 cautions in a 50-lap Auto Club race to a caution-free event right after. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was definitely the tale of two halves, which I forgot to ask, because again, you were clutching it up, as you were saying, and trying to save that fuel. How close were you before you really started to clutch it from making on fuel?
I think I was about 2 laps short, maybe.
Oh wow.
Maybe a lap and a half. I don't know. I know that I came around after I finished the race. I came around and started to do a burnout. I immediately ran out of fuel, so it was pretty close. I don't know how close Hank was behind me, because I think he was saving too. I was kind of watching the gap, just seeing what he was doing, and I don't think
he said he didn't save he didn't save at all. He just ran out right at the line. That's what he claims.
That's all right. I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting how that unfolded. And again, you know, pretty much a max points night, especially what kind of unfolded for Braxton DeWeese here tonight. So at least you can look forward to you know, Daytona, and maybe have a little fun. I don't know what the points gap will be, but before we let you go, we got your shout outs. And before you do, what is your go-to dish on Thanksgiving?
Green bean casserole for sure.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite dishes of all time. And if my mom doesn't make it, then we got a problem.
Yeah, throw a tantrum, do whatever you got to do.
Absolutely, I will throw my OSCA tantrum and do all that. Just want to give a quick, I talked to Brent about this too, but I want to give an apology to him for race 1. We made some contact, and then a huge wreck ensued after that, after more cars ran into each other. So we were good. I just, you know, I'm not trying to race Brent like that. He's a good guy. It's just, it was a mistake on my part. So
any other shout outs?
I gotta give a shout out to my wife before I forget. I love you, dear. Gotta give a shout out to my team owner and my teammates, and 3Y TV, and Weekend Woodsmen, and all the guys and gals and things and thems and theys and thems that make this league what it is.
Hey, love it. And well, you, Cameron, enjoy your victory, enjoy the points lead, and have yourself a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you at Daytona.
Y'all as well.
Heck yeah,
Eat that
love
green
it.
bean casserole.
Green bean casserole. So, Carlos, with that, as a team owner, we're going to interview you here a little bit. So I'm going to ask you the go-to question. What is...
Somebody moved Goody.
I might have accidentally moved myself.
I think I know what you're gonna ask. What's my go-to dish? It's
Yep.
Somebody mentioned it earlier. It's mashed potatoes with gravy. I'm a big mashed potato with gravy guy, but I know this is more towards Christmas. But somebody did have it a while ago. And honestly, I could have this every single day of the year. A good Christmas ham, a good Christmas sweet ham with a slice of pineapple on top. Got introduced to that only a couple years ago, and it's been on my mind ever since. But I'm not American, so Thanksgiving is a new holiday for me. Because we don't really celebrate that outside of America too much. But so yeah, it's it's fun. It's a good holiday, and I'm glad I get to celebrate in it. But yeah, it's some mashed potatoes. I'm good with that. Turkey's great. That pumpkin pie. Can't beat pumpkin pie.
Yep. And Vic, what about you, man?
I don't celebrate holidays, bud.
Oh, come on. You at least gotta have like
as a kid or something.
You know.
No, yeah. I genuinely, I haven't celebrated Thanksgiving in, oh man, I was like 8 last time I celebrated Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
All right, well, what did you eat when you were 8?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't remember anything from when I was 8.
Yeah.
Look, my favorite meal right now, I can't really say on here, so.
What?
So, I know what it is. All right. I'm with you.
Her birthday's tomorrow, okay?
Oh, okay.
Well, okay,
right.
That made it pretty clear. Congratulations to her.
Yeah.
Like, nobody watches to this point, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, hopefully not.
I'm a fan of that.
I don't really care. I don't really care.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, next week. Hope you all have a great time. Goody, sign us off.
All right. Yeah, as Carlos said, everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll be right back here in 2 weeks, right here on 3Y TV. Until then, for Adam, Matt, Carlos, Vic, and myself, happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, good night now.